Matthew the Publican, a drama based on an event described in the 9th chapter of the Gospel according to St. Matthew, an event in the greatest life ever lived. The town of Capernaum, and in the town, the house of the publican Matthew, for today is an unusual day. For on this day, Matthew is not concerned with collecting taxes, nor with accounting to the Romans for the monies which he has collected for them from his own people. Instead, this is a day of happiness for Matthew, or at least it should be. For now, he talks to the lovely young girl who is his niece. And to judge from the look on Matthew's face, it is a pleasant subject they talk about.
Believe me, Deborah, nothing in the world could have made me as happy as this news about you and Daniel. I want you to know that I've been looking forward to this day. I've been setting aside money for it. Your wedding garments will be the finest that have ever been seen in Capernaum, and now the feast itself must be lavish. I wish your wedding day to be an event that you will never forget. Of course, we cannot expect that there will be many people there.
Please, Uncle, don't say anything.
You would try to spare my feelings. Well, it is time this was talked about. Time that one of us said what needs saying. There will be very few guests at your wedding because of me. After all, what am I? A publican. One who collects taxes from my own people to turn over to the Romans. Shall I expect that they will like me for...
Uncle, I wish you wouldn't talk this way.
If I can't talk to you, to whom shall I talk? Somehow, Deborah, if I were sure that you understood, it would help. If you understood what it was like. There was a plague, and your father and mother had both died. And suddenly I was left with a niece who needed food and shelter, and I had no other way to provide for you except to become a publican. It was not what I wanted, but it was the only way that would make it possible.
I know, Uncle. Because of me, your life has been ruined.
Oh, no, it wasn't your fault. But sometimes I get to wondering, is the man's life ruined as long as he's alive and there is hope that he can change?
Uncle?
I've thought about it often. Now I will do it.
What, Uncle?
Become a free man, free of the Romans, free of the hatred of my own people.
But can you?
Now that you're being married, I can get along on less. I will find some new way of earning my livelihood. I will take any other kind of work that I can find. Now, surely that should convince people, and I'll do it now. You'll see, Deborah, before your wedding day, we will have many new friends, and on your wedding day, you will have many guests. You will have nothing to be ashamed of.
Uncle, are you sure it can be done?
It can be done. In fact, I will go to see the Roman commander at once.
Matthew, don't stand there mumbling. If you've something to say, come out with it. What's troubling you?
Caius, sir, I would like to explain...
Look, Matthew, if there's something wrong with your accounts of the tax monies, that's the one thing that can't be discussed. Your accounts are either right or wrong. There are no explanations that Rome would accept.
The accounts are right down to the very last coin, sir.
Then what are you trembling about?
Sir, I have served you Romans faithfully for a great many years.
And you've been paid well for it.
Oh, I don't deny that. I don't deny that it was for the money that I did it.
Well, then?
Sir, I wouldn't want the Roman authorities to think that there's anything wrong, but I might as well say it. I wish to resign from my office.
A tax collector for the Romans resign.
This is no laughing matter to me. It's a very serious step.
There's no doubt of that. We'll examine everything you own at once.
But why? I've been honest in my dealings with you.
Matthew, you must know that you'll never get another position.
Oh, but I will.
Indeed. Well, if you do, you'll be the first man who's collected taxes for the Romans and been rewarded with a job by your own people. No, I don't believe it. What's more, I think that you've been systematically stealing money from the tax collections, so that now you can afford to resign and never work again.
No, sir, you don't understand it. It's my niece. It's the wedding, that's what...
Niece, wedding? Man, are you out of your head?
Please, sir, please listen to me and try to understand. Every day for years now, you've seen me at my place by the roadside collecting the road taxes and carefully noting in the scrolls the amount of the collection, every single coin accounted for. How can you accuse me of cheating?
I'll say one thing for you. If you have been cheating, you've been very skillful at it.
But I haven't been cheating. Please understand. I've spent my life giving her everything that she wanted. And now, in this most important time of her life, I realize that the one thing I haven't been able to give her is a good name. And so I'm resigning. For her sake, and for my own. I'll show everyone that I'm not a Roman sympathizer at heart.
So, fine appreciation for what we Romans have done for you.
What you've done for me, you've made me an outcast. No one will speak to me. No one will associate with me. That's what working for the Romans has done for me. They think of me as a traitor.
And now you're going to change all that, eh?
Yes. I can get along on little now that my niece is leaving. I'll find some kind of work that will give me enough to live on.
Good. Very good, Matthew. I'm glad to see that you've got the courage and the strength to take such a drastic step in order to reestablish yourself in the community. Of course, if you should change your mind and decide that this is the work you like best after all, well, we'll always have a place waiting for you here.
I'll never come back here.
Of course. But your position will still be waiting for you. After all, it's the least we can do for our friends.
Well, Matthew, what do you want here? I've done nothing wrong. Besides, your interest is in the road collections. You can't come prying into my affairs. Or have you been promoted to the collection of other taxes? Samuel, I've not come here to discuss taxes with you. You haven't? Ah, good. No, Samuel, it's a far different matter that brings me. You see, I need help. Indeed. Well, what is it? What's wrong? Samuel, for a long time now, I've been doing work for the Romans. Well, I know that. Of course, and although you don't sympathize with what I've been doing, believe me, there were reasons. A man doesn't do things like this without compelling reasons, but all that has changed now. I am no longer a publican. How nice. But what's that to do with me? Well, Samuel, say what you will about the Romans, you must know how exacting they are. I've had fine training. I can keep records and books as accurately as anyone. Well, that must be a great satisfaction to you, I'm sure. Now, the point of my visit here is this. Samuel, would you give me a position? Matthew, I have no use for any additional help. But everyone knows how much your business has prospered in the last few years. Surely you could make room for one more man, a capable man? Yes, my business has prospered, and I intend to see that it goes on prospering. And one way to make sure is not to hire any friends of the Romans. But I'm no friend of theirs, I tell you. There never was a publican in this land who was considered anything but a traitor. And I don't associate with traitors, nor do I give them work. Is that clear? But I've changed, Samuel. Changed? The thorns on a rose never change, neither do traitors. Now you'll do me a great favor by leaving here at once. After all, I have my reputation to think of. Aaron, you must must understand. I'm sure you will.
Understand what, Matthew?
Well, your caravans carry produce for the Roman armies. You do a great deal of business with them.
And if I do?
Well, then surely you must understand the position that I'm in now.
Make yourself clear, Matthew. What is it? Is there something wrong? Or is it that you've got some bit of secret news that you're willing to dispose of for a price?
I've never been a spy.
Then what brings you here?
No one will believe me, but I think that you will understand. Because, after all, you did practically the same thing.
What did I do?
You worked for the Romans, too, and since you...
Wait. Hold on a moment, Matthew. Are you attempting to put me in the same class with you?
Well, after all, we both earn our livelihoods working for the Romans.
You know, Matthew, I don't feel flattered being put in the same class with you, so if that's all you've come to say, get out.
See, here, a job is what I need. I can work hard for you. I can relieve you of a great many details which will give you more time for other profitable business.
I'm sorry, Matthew.
And you can trust me, Aaron. I'm honest. No one has ever denied that.
No one ever discusses the honesty of traitors. It's like talking about rainfall in the desert. I'm sorry, Matthew.
And I thought you would understand.
Then you were mistaken. Now, let's get one matter straight. I work for the Romans, that's true. But I take money from them. You take money from your own people for the Romans. There's a difference, Matthew. A very big difference.
And you don't think a man can change?
I don't even care. I'm in a pretty delicate situation as it is, Matthew. I don't take risks for anyone. To hire you would be such a risk. Sorry.
Michael, you must understand.
Whenever someone tells me I must understand, I know immediately that it's something others don't understand. If you come seeking a favor, Matthew, you must know that there's little I can do.
You mean there's little you can do for me, don't you?
If you choose to phrase it that way.
Michael, you're a respected man in this community. A word from you can mean a great deal.
A word, some sort of magic word.
Michael, have you ever known me to do a single dishonest act in all my life?
What's the purpose of such a question, Matthew?
If you vouch for me, then I might be able to get a job. Everyone respects you and your word. Just tell them that I'm honest and decent.
Matthew, let me give you a little insight into a great secret of getting along with people. If you would have people respect your word, don't give it too freely.
What do you mean?
Why do people regard my word so highly? I'll tell you why. Because they've never been disappointed in what I've said. And again, why? Because I never give my word on anything or anyone. Is that clear?
But I know of several occasions when you vouched for people.
Matthew, how can I vouch for you when you call me a liar?
But I didn't call you a liar.
You didn't use the word straight out, but you did contradict me. You see, Matthew, it's quite impossible for me to vouch for someone like you, much as I'd like to.
You wouldn't like to at all. You're toying with me when I'm in trouble. I need help and you don't want to give it to me. And inwardly you're laughing at me. You're being cruel, Michael.
Perhaps your friends, the Romans, would be kinder to you. Matthew, get out of here.
Oh, Deborah, I've tried.
Oh, no, Uncle.
It's as though I've been a thief. No one trusts me. No one believes. You tell me, Deborah, have I been a traitor? Have I been a friend of the Romans? Every day for years now you've seen me, heard me speak. Have I ever uttered one word that could be interpreted as treason toward our people?
Oh, no, Uncle, no.
How can people be so cruel?
Uncle,
Yes, Deborah.
maybe Daniel's father could help.
No, it wouldn't be right. I don't want to jeopardize your happiness, never that.
But if Daniel is willing to marry me, surely his father should be willing to be understanding about you.
He's the one man I won't go to. No, Deborah, when you marry, I want you to cut your ties with me. I want you to try to forget me, forget that I'm your uncle.
After all you've done for me, This whole thing is really my fault, in a way.
Why? Because you wanted a wedding like other girls had. There's nothing to apologize for.
You took the job in the first place to earn money to take care of me. You tried to leave it because you thought it would help me, and Uncle, I don't deserve it.
No. We won't have tears. In this life, when you make one mistake, you're finished. There's no new beginning. No one wants to understand or forgive. Well, I don't want you to do the same thing that I did, so you will marry Daniel. You will live your own life. Your children must never know about me.
You won't even come to see it?
Shame is one possession I'm selfish about. I'll share it with no one.
And your reward for all the years of sacrifice will be living alone the rest of your life? That isn't fair.
Nor is it fair to attach the stigma to your children yet unborn. You know the Roman was cleverer than I gave him credit for. He knew what he was talking about. I'll go back. I'll take the job that's waiting.
Well, Matthew, so you're back. How nice to see you again.
Please, sir, don't be too cruel on a beaten man. Don't make it worse.
So you've changed your mind, Matthew. How nice to see you again.
Please, sir, don't be too cruel on a beaten man. Don't make it worse.
So you've changed your mind, Matthew. Is it a job you're thinking of?
Well, you said it would be waiting for me.
Oh, so I did.
Well, shall I begin at my usual place?
Your usual place, yes. But not at your usual fee.
But, sir...
You see, there were some things you said just before you left that I didn't like, so we'll take something off for that.
But the work will be the same.
Only the pay will be different. Now, do you want the job under those conditions, or don't you?
You know I have no alternative.
Good. And if you make any mention to anyone of this little change in your remuneration, it will go hard with you. Do I make myself clear?
I think I know what you mean, Caius.
Very well. I'll go out by the road and take your accustomed place and begin your collecting. And be careful today.
If you think I deliberately make any mistakes...
Oh, I didn't mean that. It just happens that there are great crowds passing on the roads today. That man, what do they call him? The master. He's supposed to be coming this way, and the roads are clogged with people wanting to see him. So things will be more difficult than usual today.
The master?
Matthew, you listen to me.
I wonder.
So, you turned to him, too.
I didn't say that, did I?
You didn't have to say it. Just let one of your people get into trouble, you go to him for help. Tell me, Matthew, all those things they say about you, about curing people, raising the dead, all that. Is it true?
I've heard, as you've heard, but I haven't seen. Yet somehow I feel that maybe it is true.
Matthew, if you have any ideas that he can help you, forget them. None of your people would have anything to do with the likes of you, least of all such a prophet as the master. Now get on with your job, Matthew.
Return. And as soon as you pay your taxes, you'll be allowed to move on. So stand back, wait your turn. Roman, please! Bring up, Roman, stand back. No more of your comments. You think I do this because I want to?
What is it, Matthew? Have you lost your zest for the job?
Oh, Caius, you were right about the huge crowds. I have more than I can do to keep them in line.
I don't think there's any excuse. If any of them slip by, I'll take the taxes out of your pay, do you hear?
Yes, I hear. Now then, first... Please, I'm trying to do what I can to make it easier and quicker for you all. If you'll only cooperate...
What's the matter with him? Look there and you'll see. It's what I told you. The master is coming this way. You see there, they're clearing a path for him.
Master, yes. Yes, I see him.
Well, never mind that now. You'll do your job. You'll go on collecting taxes.
But the master, I must speak to him. I must ask him if he couldn't forgive a man like
You'll
me.
sit where you are, Matthew. You'll do what I tell you to.
Please, this one time, I'd like to ask him, sir. I'd like to find out.
Collect the taxes, I say, else to find out what Roman retribution can be like. You don't do your job.
Yes, sir. It seems that nothing can help me. Nothing. I'm a man doomed to be hated and distrusted and thwarted all my life. My one chance, and I can't take advantage of it.
That's very touching, Matthew, but people are waiting. Collect the taxes.
Yes, sires, I'll collect the taxes. What else is there for me in life? Work for the Romans, be hated by your own. Give up what little family you have, that's my lot. All right, next. What's wrong now? Why are they all going so quiet?
No, I don't like it. There is something wrong. Something strange. Look.
The master. Coming toward us. Coming with a little stand. Carlos, what shall I do?
Asking for taxes, of course.
Don't joke about such things. Wait. Maybe this is my chance. Maybe this is the opportunity I've been waiting for. Master, there is something I must ask you.
Follow me.
Did you hear? Follow me. It's what the master said. He said it to me, to Matthew, the publican. Did you hear? All of you, did you hear? You who scorned me, who shunned me. Did you hear? The master himself said for me to follow him.
Matthew, where are you going?
To follow him. To follow him as he asked.
And I order you to come back.
Not this time and never again. I've been freed from the slavery of fear about money and of the fear of being despised. I go to follow him.
Matthew!
Come back. Come back. In the name of Rome, I order you, come back.
Gone. He's gone.
And you are the disciple John, and you were Peter. I was glad to know you all, and you must try to be friendly toward me, please.
Matthew, the master has chosen you. If you've been accepted by him, surely you can expect no less from us. Yes, Matthew. You should do the same as us.
Oh, I'm not the same, Peter, for I'm a man loathed and hated here in Capernaum. But from now on, things will be different. There is one thing that I must do before I leave here. The master and all of you, you'll have the evening meal in my home. It'll be the last meal in my home, but you must all be there, and I shall invite all those who shamed me and let them see that the master has forgiven me. And maybe they will forgive too.
Is there much else to prepare? Peter and I could help.
Oh, John, I've already disgraced the master. The good people I'd invited, they wouldn't come. And the others, the ones who would accept, they aren't good enough to eat at the same table with the master, even as I am not.
Never show that, Matthew. The master shames no one. And if the meal's prepared, then you should invite the hungry to share it with us. Go, Matthew. Invite all those who would come and share the feast with us. Don't judge them. Invite them. Yes, John. Yes.
John, I can see now what you meant. The master turns from no man, no matter how low his station in life.
One can look about this table and guess the things these men have done. Some have the shifty eyes of thieves, others the hard faces of disbelievers, and still others the haggard and worried look of those who are afraid of the world.
Yet the master breaks bread with them and treats no man of them with disrespect.
Because he thinks not of the past, but of the present and the future. There's no man here who cannot be a good man. And with help and understanding, there will be good men one day.
Uncle Matthew! Uncle Matthew!
Fibber, please, I have an honored guest here for the last meal to be served in my home.
Please, Uncle, listen to me. It's important.
Oh, dear, you seem almost on the verge of tears. What is it? The wedding, Daniel? Is something wrong? And just when I thought that everything would be all right.
Uncle, I've heard. The master has chosen you to follow, and you've been forgiven, I know, but unfortunately others have heard too. That's why I'm here.
What do you mean, child?
They're coming here. The important men in the town, Samuel, Aaron, the elders, they're coming here now.
They are? That's good. For they'll see that I eat at the same table with the master.
But you don't understand. They're coming here to confront the master, to accuse him, to do you harm.
You're still not satisfied? They want to go on persecuting me?
Don't be afraid, Matthew.
Yes, let them come. The master has faced angry mobs before, and men of authority. Don't be afraid, Matthew. You have brothers now. Male brothers.
You see them?
Deborah with my newfound friends, I'm not afraid. I let them in. Samuel, Aaron, welcome to my home. Where is he? Where is this man who claims to be a prophet and is a friend of publicans and sinners at the same time? There he sits at the head of the table. What do you want with him? Master, you call yourself a prophet, a teacher of goodness and right. And yet there's not a man here at this table with you that we don't know to be a publican or a thief or an irreligious man. If you've come to raise them to the status of honored men, then you're not wanted in this town, not by us. No. You understand? Samuel, that's no way to address the master. His actions earn him that kind of address. Well, master, you persist in honoring these people? If not, we have a feast prepared for you. We, the honorable citizens of Capernaum. Make your choice now.
They that are whole have no need of the physician, but they that are sick. I come not to call the righteous, but sinners to repentance.
Master, that is a strange soul.
No answer. Get rid of him. Drive him out of town.
No, wait, my friend, wait. Let's not lose our tempers. There's a good deal in what he says. And haven't we seen it? Matthew wanted to give up being a publican, but we wouldn't help him. I wouldn't give him a job. We forced him to go back to the Romans.
That much is true. Yes.
If we had helped him as the master did, he would have changed. He wanted to, you know that.
Yes.
Master, if you can, forgive us our angry words. Forgive us. And, Matthew, would you forgive me? Oh, gladly, Samuel. Gladly.
Next week, on this same network at this time, we will present another episode in the greatest story ever told from the greatest life ever lived.
This is the United States Armed Forces Radio and Television Service, the voice of information and education.
Scoop. True stories that have made headlines.
(1836). Remember the Alamo.
What are you going to do, Colonel Travis?
Sit and wait.
You think we'll hold the Alamo?
Don't you?
Yeah, I'd say we should.
You don't have to humor me, Captain Dickinson. Jim Bowie says I'm too inexperienced, too young to hold the fort, and he could be right. There's no one more experienced in warfare than Colonel Bowie.
What do any of us know about the Mexicans? We took San Antonio to Bahia with hardly a shot.
Oh, that's true enough. Ah, well, I suppose we'll soon find out. Dickinson, your wife. I think she and the other women should leave Texas.
I agree, but you try and tell Suzanne that. Texas is our home now. We've lived here ever since we were married. The Mexicans invited the Americans to settle in Texas, she says. So they must expect us to stay.
Well, the trouble is there are now 10 Americans to every Mexican in Texas. The state might just as well belong to us.
And that's what's worrying President Santa Anna.
Yes. If he can't get rid of us by introducing more and more restrictive laws, he'll chase us out with his armies. If the women won't leave, do they know what to do when the attack comes?
Every woman and child is to be marshaled into the chapel and told to stay there. Suzanne is taking charge.
Good. It's well barricaded. They should be safe enough in there.
What about Colonel Fannon's reinforcements?
Well, we haven't heard anything from him. Goliath Garrison could have gone up in smoke for all we know.
Except that we are the vanguard of the Texas forces, not Goliath.
We're going to need every man we can lay our hands on.
It's a pity about Bowie.
Yes, but he's tough. He'll soon be over the fever.
Well, I'd better go down and see how the defenses are getting on. There's a part of the wall that worries me.
You mean the area that's collapsed?
Yeah.
You'll have to bolster it up somehow in case Santa Anna's attack comes from that direction.
Hey, I can hear horses.
You're right. And men cheering. It must be Colonel Fannin. I knew he wouldn't let us down. Now come over here. We should be able to see them from the window.
The cavalry's here.
No, that's not the cavalry.
Well, what else could it be? The men would hardly cheer the Mexicans.
I don't believe it. Well, Dickinson, look there. Do you know who that is?
I don't think so.
Well, who else wears buckskins and a coonskin hat?
You mean Crockett?
That's it. Colonel Davy Crockett. Come on, Dickinson. We're going out there to meet him. I was never happier to meet anyone, Colonel Crockett. But what brings you to the Alamo mission?
Well, Colonel, I guess you could say my belief in the rights of man. Those Mexicans are doing their best to kick the Americans out of Texas. I don't hold with that.
You're here to fight for us?
Well, that's about it. I raised my Tennessee volunteers so they could put the situation right. You people have lived here for 12 years and have put your hearts and souls into Texas soil. Now's not the time for Mexico to say you don't belong here.
Well, they don't exactly say that.
They say no foreigner can settle in any Mexican territory bordering on the country from which he came. Now, doesn't that apply to you? Darn it, man, you American settlers total 75% of the Texas population.
Oh, that's why Texas was proclaimed an autonomous state last year.
Well, that's why President Santa Anna decided you must be brought to heel. Well, we're going to break that deadlock. I hear my friend Jim Bowie's here.
Oh, he's sick with fever.
Very unfortunate. Well, I'll get to see him in a minute, but just now, I want you to tell me what orders you have for us.
Orders?
Well, you are in command of the mission, Colonel Travis.
Oh, yes, but I wouldn't presume to give orders to Davy Crockett.
Why ever not?
Oh, Colonel Crockett, as one of the finest pioneers of our land, you've forgotten more than I shall ever know about warfare.
I may be 50 years old, and I doubt whether you are yet 30. But that makes no difference to the present situation. I shall be proud to serve under you, Colonel. Now then, where does the land lie?
Well, I have a map. Here. This is the mission. We felt it would be easier to defend than the town of San Antonio itself.
I see you're right.
Now, here is the mission square. The people call it the plaza. And there to the right, the original convent building.
Well, that's where we are at the moment.
Yes. Behind us is the convent yard, and in one corner, the church. We're using that as a sanctuary for the women and children.
The plaza is pretty well protected by its wall, but what about there, in front of the church? You're vulnerable there.
Yes, although there is a ditch, and we've built a stockade.
Well, I guess that's our position. We'll hold that area for you, Colonel Travis.
Oh, we can certainly do with your help.
Next, could you withstand a siege?
No. It won't be long before we run out of food and water.
I see. Well, I guess we might be able to ease the food situation.
Well, it's water that's our problem. We're supplied with water from a stream which can be dammed from outside.
The Mexicans are coming. There must be nearly 2,000 of them.
Against not quite 200 of us.
Who's leading them?
General Antonio de Santa Anna.
So, El Presidente himself.
What's more, we hear there are another 2,000 Mexican reservists in the town of San Antonio de Bajar, just behind us.
Oh, I guess we got here just in time.
Now, come with me, Dickinson, and you too, Colonel Crockett, if you catch you. I'm going up onto the wall to have a look.
Pity dusk's fallen, but I imagine we'll soon see enough. Well, they're still there, on the other side of the river. They've been there all night.
Thousands of them. Are the women and children safe, Captain Dickinson?
In the chapel, Colonel.
Good.
How have my men got on with that stockade wall, Dickinson?
Been working like beavers, Colonel Crockett. It should hold as a defense line now.
Good.
There he is, General Antonio Lopez de Santa Anna, President of the Republic of Mexico. Do you see the banner flying above him? It means no quarter, no surrender, no mercy. And there's not a Mexican soldier who doesn't understand what that means.
There's only one thing in our favor. We can see every darn Mexican on the plain. That red uniform of theirs is pretty outstanding.
Isn't that a... Hey, it's a white flag.
A surrender flag. Well, he must be mad. No one's fired a shot.
Oh, he wants to parley. I'll send someone out there to talk to him.
And if it's a trap?
If it is, 1 or 2 men might die. If it's not, we could save the entire garrison.
Well, the point is who?
I'll go if you think it'll do any good.
Oh, I'd prefer to send a single man.
I'd like to go.
Very well. Take Sergeant Benson with you. You know what to say?
No surrender.
That's it, Captain. No surrender.
As you say, Colonel.
Well, Colonel Crockett, have I done the right thing?
There was nothing else you could have done.
Well, you've seen so much of this kind of fighting. I'd have thought you'd have had enough of it. What really brought you here, Colonel?
I thought I had enough. Believe me, it's all right when you're young. I started when I was 27, fighting the Creek Indians. But 9 years later, I was a United States congressman. I guess I'd be one still if I hadn't been defeated. Then I heard what was going on down here in Texas. Couldn't stand for that, so I dusted off my coonskin cap and buckskins, and here I am.
Nothing better could have happened to us. Oh, there goes Dickinson.
Better stand by your guns in case it's necessary.
Stand by the guns!
Stand by the guns! Stand by the guns!
I wish I knew what had happened to Colonel Fannin. He must have got our message by now. It's days since we appealed for help.
He might not have received the message. Are you sure your man got through?
Well, there's no reason why he shouldn't. The Mexicans weren't here when he left. Oh, look. The general's riding out to meet Dickinson.
Who's that woman coming towards us along the catwalk? She's asking for trouble.
Oh, that's Suzanne Dickinson.
The captain's wife.
Yes. Have you ever tried to drive a mother hen away from her chicks? That's what she was like when I told her the women must leave the Alamo. I was wasting my time. She's quite the Crockett. Dickinson and Santa Anna have met.
That means we must stand by to fire.
Colonel Travis, my husband down there in the white flag. Does that mean you're going to surrender?
Not if we can help it, ma'am. Now get back to the chapel at once. You have no business here.
I came to tell you that the first aid center is ready.
Keep down, ma'am.
My husband, I must see if he's been
He's
wounded.
safe. Now go quickly. I'm going to give the order to fire.
Yes, the woman will be afraid.
This is it. Stand by to fire!
Will you be all right, Mrs. Dickinson?
Oh, yes, don't worry about me, Colonel Crockett. Worry about the men. There are few enough of them.
Open fire! Open fire! Open fire!
You sent for me, Colonel Travis?
Yes, Captain. I want you to ride back to General Sam Houston with a message.
You want me to leave the Alamo?
This message must get to the general commanding the Texan forces.
But, Colonel, you need every man you can
We
get.
must have help from outside, Dickinson. Only you and this letter can get that for us. Now, read it.
Yes, sir. fellow citizens and compatriots, I am besieged by 1,000 or more of the Mexicans under General Santa Anna. I have sustained a continual bombardment and cannonade for 24 hours and have not lost a man. The enemy has demanded our surrender, otherwise the garrison is to be put to the sword if the fort is taken. I have answered the demand with cannon shot, and our flag still waves proudly from the walls.
Read on, Captain.
I shall never surrender or retreat. Then I call on you in the name of liberty, of patriotism, and everything dear to the American character to come to our aid with all dispatch. If this call is neglected, I am determined to sustain myself as long as possible and die like a soldier who never forgets what is due to his own honor and that of his country. Victory or death. Signed, William Travis, Lieutenant Colonel Commanding.
Well, Dickinson, will you take it for me?
My wife, sir?
I can only say that whatever may happen to us, I doubt if any harm will come to the women.
Well, why ask me?
Because there is no one else I can trust.
Very well, Colonel. I'll go. When do I leave?
This evening, as soon as it's dark.
We'll never hold them, Crockett. The men are doing their best. They haven't rested since the attack began.
I know the Mexicans are like ants. You think... Sergeant, over there. There's a ladder against the wall.
Keep firing, Tennessee.
We've got to keep them off the walls.
Reinforce the wall, Lieutenant Bolton. Whatever happens, we must keep them off the wall.
We'll hold them. When Houston comes, he'll...
No word yet?
No.
Oh, another scaling ladder. Grab hold of it. Help me push it away.
I'm with you.
It's going over.
Crockett, watch that man. He's got a bayonet.
I've got him. Grab the ladder.
I got it.
Now push.
Here goes. The ladder's moving. Now hang on to the wall. The ladder's going.
Man, I thought that was the end.
Crockett, there's Santa Anna himself.
Which means it's the main attack. We've got to hold it. I'm going to get back to the stockade.
See you later. I'm going to hold a parapet over there, on the corner of the plaza.
Good luck, Travis. Hold on, Tennessee volunteers. Whatever happens, stand by Colonel Travis.
It was a nightmare, General. I could hear Colonel Travis shouting. They're inside the walls, and then it seemed that every Texan in the Alamo was struggling to prevent Santa Anna from entering the plaza.
Heavens.
I saw it all, General, from the entrance to the chapel.
Nearly 200 men killed.
The whole garrison.
Colonel Travis?
Killed as he fired down at a group of Mexicans. They say he died instantly.
And Colonel Crockett?
He must have killed almost 100 men before a lieutenant struck him down with his sword.
I can't believe it. Fannin was supposed to
Oh,
have...
well, what does it matter? It's too late to save them now.
What happened to Jim Bowie?
He's dead, too. He'd been sick with a fever for several days and was still in bed when the Mexicans found him. As they stormed into the sick room, he was waiting for them, a pistol in each hand. He killed two before the others stabbed him with their bayonets.
And you, madam, how did the president treat you?
Oh, courteously. I only wish his men had behaved in the same way. I saw several shooting at dead bodies that lay in the plaza.
Do you know where Santa Anna is now?
About 4 miles away, I guess.
Only 4 miles?
What do we do, General Houston?
Do, Lieutenant Hastings. Retreat.
But that's exactly what Santa Anna wants.
Are you questioning my orders, Lieutenant?
No, sir. I only thought we...
You may leave this thinking to me, Lieutenant.
Yes, sir.
Kindly tell Major Lawton to prepare the camp for retreat in half an hour's time.
Yes, sir.
Well, Mrs. Dickinson, you've been through a great ordeal, but at least we now have a pleasant surprise for you.
Surprise?
Yeah, just look through that window. Someone is crossing the parade ground that I think you might know.
Fred!
Yeah, your husband, Captain Dickinson.
Oh, General Houston, I knew he'd be all right. Colonel Travis thought he might be dead, but I knew.
Come in, Dickinson.
Fred!
Suzanne!
Oh, my dear. My dear.
Oh, I never thought we'd meet. What? I beg your pardon, sir.
Oh, I can appreciate your feelings.
Thank you, General. I understand we're to retreat, sir.
Yes. As you know, Gonzales is only a temporary camp, totally unfitted for any large-scale defense. We know the size of the Mexican army, about 4,000 at least, and we can't hope to hold Gonzales against it. I've decided to retreat to the La Vaca River.
So far?
I've ordered Colonel Fannin to leave Goliad and meet us there.
If he obeys your orders.
As you say, Captain, if he obeys my orders. But I think this time he will. He has to. Anyway, we shall be traveling light to start with. I should give orders to throw our cannons into the river and...
What if we need them?
We won't need them. By the time we get the river between ourselves and General Santa Anna, we shall have the advantage.
And the woman and children?
Well, I have such faith in our ability to destroy the Mexicans once we reach Lavaca that I'm prepared to take the women and children with us, Mrs. Dickinson.
Do you realize the sort of country we should be crossing, General Houston?
I do, Captain. Sandy, unhealthy, and infested with mosquitoes.
We can go on, General.
Can't, Captain Dickinson? Why ever not?
Because we can't move. This rain hasn't stopped for 3 days, and some of the wagons are completely bogged down in mud.
Then we must either manhandle them or leave them where they are. I'm determined to reach the Sabine River if it kills me.
And then, sir?
In the town of San Felipe, we shall start intensive training. Only when I'm satisfied with the standard of the Army shall I allow it to meet the Mexicans.
If they give us time to train.
They will. I understand they made a slight detour. Did you know that?
No, sir. I don't think I've heard.
They've been to Goliad.
Where Colonel Fannin was?
Where Colonel Fannin was shot a few days ago.
How? Why?
While we were expecting him to join us at Lavaca River, he was busy surrendering to General Santa Anna. A bloodless surrender. Not a shot was fired.
You said the colonel was killed?
Yeah, he was. General Santa Anna repaid his surrender by having him and every one of his men shot dead in cold blood.
I see.
So now do you realize why we have to push on? We've got to fight the Mexicans. We've got no alternative. So let us do it with courage and determination.
General Houston, I'm sure the retreat is necessary, but some of your officers are wondering if it's wise to draw the Mexicans so far into Texas.
Well, at the moment, we're working in the dark. So I'd be glad if you'd give them this message. If I err, the blame is mine. You will remember the words. If I err, the blame is mine. Magnificent. Where did they come from?
I'm not at all sure, sir. There was a note attached to one of the cannons from an admirer.
An admirer, eh? Well, that's the sort of gift I enjoy receiving. Where's Captain Dickinson?
A messenger is coming from the river. He's gone to see if there's any news of the Mexicans.
Excellent. How much iron would you say we have about the camp, Lieutenant Hastings?
Iron, General?
You completely stupid. We're going to use it as ammunition for my cannons.
Of course. I'll go have a look.
Dickinson, what news?
The Mexicans across the river, General.
I thought it wouldn't take them long. Just as well we moved to Harrisburg. How far away are they now?
That's the trouble. No one's quite sure. Spies tell us there are at least 10 miles away, floundering about in the marsh country.
I guess that figures. We won't know anything about that part of the world. Perhaps it would be as well if we were to...
Attack, sir?
Don't hurry me now. Let me think. The Mexicans don't know conditions in the marsh country, do they?
No, sir.
But we do. Yes. I think we'll leave the camp here and march back to meet them.
Tonight?
No, Lieutenant Hastings. Tomorrow morning. Bring the spies to me, Dickinson. I want to learn all I can about the Mexicans' positions. Well, so far, so good.
When do we attack, sir?
We wait for them to make the first move. Yeah, this grove of trees is ideal. We'll have to cross those fields to get to us. I doubt if they realize we're actually here.
General Houston, you're beginning to move out.
Good. That's how I want it. Are the scouts back from the river yet?
Yes, sir. They've destroyed the bridges as you ordered.
Good. That'll put an end to their reinforcements.
How soon before we charge?
Give them time. I guess we're outnumbered 2-1. Wouldn't you say so, gentlemen?
It looks like it, General.
Well, not as bad as at the Alamo. We should be able to cope with that amount. Find out if my horse is ready, Hastings.
Yes, sir.
Now, there's no point in keeping our presence secret much longer, Dickinson. Besides, I want to speak to the men. Do you reckon they can hear me from here?
I'm sure they can, sir.
Your horse is ready, General.
Good. Men of the Texan army? Men of Texas? You know why we're here. Over there, across the fields, the enemy's approaching. Within the next few minutes, we shall charge. I intend routing this General Santa Anna, President of Mexico, and his forces once and for all. But to do so, many of us will have to suffer. Some of us may die. Even if this is so, remember you will be dying for your country. Trust in God and fear not. Victory is certain. To horse, gentlemen. Let this be our day. We are avenging our brothers in arms. Remember the Alamo! Remember the Alamo!
I can tell you, General, that Sam Houston is every Texan's hero.
My dear Mrs. Dickinson, one man cannot fight a battle on his own.
All the same, he can plan and fulfill a victory. Do you know what the people are saying? That Sam Houston must be the first president of Texas.
What do you say to that, sir?
Well, on behalf of my unseasoned soldiers, my friends who rode at my side against the Mexicans, I shall accept.
That is all we want to know, General.
So you do have something to do with this, Captain Dickinson.
I have indeed, sir.
I should have been happier at the thought of accepting. If our friends from the Alamo could have been here with us. Colonel Travis, Colonel Davy Crockett, and Jim Bowie. Even so, they have not died in vain.
They certainly haven't.
There's a rumor that General Santa Anna has gone to America.
I sent him to America, Mrs. Dickinson. I want him to meet the president of our country of origin. I want him to learn the sort of person a president should be.
You think President Jackson will let him go free?
I know he will, because I've asked him to. Too many people have died already in this unnecessary war, Captain. Now it's time to plan the future of this vast state of ours, and believe me, that will take a lot of doing.
I should like to propose a toast, sir.
Carry on, Captain.
A toast. To the future of this great land of ours, Texas, and to the man who'll lead us to prosperity, General Sam Houston.
Thank you, Captain Dickinson. And now let me give a toast. To us all. And long may we remember the Alamo.
Every Saturday night at 9 o'clock, we bring you a true story that has made headlines in Scoop.
Vicks presents the Matinee Theater, starring Victor Jory. Makers of Vicks Vapor Rub, Vicks Vatronol, Vicks Cough Drops, and Vicks Inhaler brings you the Matinee Theater, starring Victor Jory and featuring Inga Adams and Arnold Moss in one of the most unusual plays ever presented on the air. Some 9 months ago, when we started this series, we brought you this original play about an American hero in Russia. Since then, we have been constantly asked to repeat this fine romantic story. And so we have chosen it for the closing performance of the season, A Man Named Jones. Here's a good thing to remember when you catch a cold. The best-known home remedy for relieving miseries of colds is Vicks Vapor Rub. Now, Act One of A Man Named Jones.
Come with me to the Russia of the 19th century, in the days when Catherine was empress and law of the land. In the days when a commoner could not smile at a princess, but an empress could smile at anyone she chose. In the days when a handsome, dashing, fighting man came swaggering into the court of Imperial Russia, a man named Jones.
Mr. Jones, you were invited to Russia by the Empress Catherine for one purpose. She wanted and does want you to fight for her against the Turks in the Black Sea. We welcomed you here as a friend, but you are betraying that friendship.
That's not true, Prince Nassau. I betrayed no one. I don't understand what you're getting at.
Then I will make myself a little clearer. The Princess Anna Mikhailovna Kurakina is my betrothed. It's an arrangement that's agreeable to both our families and to the Empress. Your attentions to the princess are extremely annoying to everyone concerned.
The princess hasn't said so.
The princess is very young. She's with the Empress now. I think you'll find that after today, she will not wish to see you again.
Do you think you're talking to a schoolboy, Nassau? Do you seriously think you can stand there and tell me that I'm not to see a woman again, a woman that I've grown to love and respect above all women in the world?
Anna is a princess of Russia. She must live according to tradition. She will marry as she's told to marry, and she'll do as she's told to do. She will not see you again.
You and I have reached an impasse, my friend. In my country, no one tells anyone what they must do or what they must not do, or even, and this may, of course, surprise you, whom they must marry.
But you are in Russia, Mr. Jones. Fight your war for Russia, and then go marry in America.
Sorry, Prince Nassau. I'd rather set my heart on a Russian princess.
Then you've set your heart on a dangerous course, Mr. Jones.
Danger? Oh, danger! Danger is my business, Prince Nassau. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have an engagement to go driving with the princess.
Let's stop here for a moment. I used to come here on picnics when I was a child. There's a waterfall nearby.
All right. Let me help you down.
Thank you.
Beautiful.
There was a sadness to this spot. Don't you feel it? I did, even when I was a girl. There's always been something about this place that made me want to cry. And now I understand. It was because of this hour that I would have to spend here. This hour when I would have to say goodbye.
There is no sadness here.
Oh, my darling, I cannot see you again. I've had my orders.
Who gave you such orders?
The Empress. Now do you understand?
Listen to me, Anna. No woman or man or any other living person is going to tell me what to do or how to live my life. I'm a fighting man. I fought all my life, and I've lived as I please and how I please, and I'll do what I think is right to do. Darling, you must not let them frighten you.
I've been frightened of things all my life. I've been frightened of the dark, of the noises you hear in the dark. Footsteps and whispers and voices. I've been frightened of people, of their anger, of the things they can do to you. I've seen men and women beheaded. I've seen that, John.
I've never been afraid. I've never been afraid of anything.
Listen to me, Mother. I know Nassau, and I know my Empress. They both know how to hit, and they both know how to kill women. One of them loves me, and one thinks she might love you, and there is the danger.
Darling, listen to me, and don't you be frightened. No one's going to hurt you. I'll fight for you and protect you, and no one will dare do anything to you. I'll take you home with me to Virginia. There's nothing to be afraid of in Virginia. The air is sweet with the taste of freedom, and the wind is sharp with it, and the soil is rich with it. And no one will say you must not love or you cannot love. No one will say, speak as I do or speak as I tell you. All that will be said is, live here. Be happy. Say and do and think as you please. And all that will be asked of you in return is that you will love Virginia.
It has a lovely sound to it, that name. Virginia. Oh, but I am of the courts of Russia. There is a pattern by which I must live and which I must respect. And if I defy that pattern, I will die. I know it in my heart. So I will marry Nassau, and you will be kind to the Emperor.
No, you must not say that again. I love you. I'll never give you up. I'll never lose you. And right now I'm going to take you home, and then I'm going to find the Empress and tell her.
Well, Admiral Jones, you rather astound me. I asked you here to lead my fleet against the Turks, not to choose a bride for my court.
I will lead your forces. I will win for you, and in return, I ask most humbly for the hand of Princess Cavalcade.
The princess is very young. You are older, far more sophisticated. I would think you could make a more satisfying choice, as well as a wiser one.
But I love the princess.
The princess is betrothed to Prince Nassau.
But she does not love him.
There are more things to be considered than love, Admiral, in our philosophy.
Not in mine.
You amuse me. You are talking like a child. Well, be that as it may, next week you will set sail for the Black Sea. When you return, we will discuss the Kurakina affair. If you are victorious, you may find us more kindly disposed than at the moment.
When I return, if I do not find you kindly disposed, I will marry her anyhow.
Suppose you were told an empress found you charming. Would you still be satisfied with a princess?
I love the princess.
Very well. Go to the Black Sea. And when you come back, we will consider this matter again. Possibly you may change your mind by then. Good evening, Mr. Jones.
Your Majesty.
Well, Admiral Jones.
Good evening, Prince Nassau.
I've been calling on the princess. I assume you've been calling on the Empress.
That's rather obvious since I'm in her corridors, isn't it?
Jones, I've warned you once. I'm not going to warn you again. Stay away from Anna.
You're wasting the time and your breath. I love her, and I'm going to marry her.
Do I have to kill you to show you I mean what I say?
That's the only way you'll gain your point.
Then, by heavens, I'll kill you.
Stop! Stop this instantly. You hear me? Stop this instantly. How dare you brawl over a woman outside my apartment? Nassau, get to your own quarters.
I humbly beg your pardon, Your Majesty.
Jones, you have even more to learn than I suspected. There is one bit more trouble over this girl. I'll see that she's put where neither of you will ever find her.
There is the church to the right through those trees.
Fine. We made it in better time than I'd hoped.
John, this is wrong. I know it's wrong. I'm so frightened.
This is the only way, Anna. Now they will never be able to take you away from me. This way I can go to the Black Sea, and you need not fear because no one will have the right to threaten you in any way.
John, I don't know.
If you love me, Anna, you must trust me. Come now, give me your hands. They're very cold.
Yes, I know.
Come, my darling.
O Holy Father in heaven, I direct your attention to this couple who stand before you about to be married. I commend them to you as they exchange rings. I beg you to bless this union and to protect it. Anna, I command you to love and to cherish this man. John, I command you to love and to cherish this woman.
Are you happy this morning?
Yes. Yes, I am happy. No matter what happens, no matter what they do to me, I'm very happy.
They're not going to do anything to you. You're my wife.
In Russia, we believe that happiness is paid for with tears. But if the happiness is a great happiness, it is worth any amount of tears.
Why, you're a fake.
I'm a Russian.
Darling, I love you more than anything in the world. I'm going to the Black Sea for Catherine, and I'm coming back for you, and we're going to Virginia. And I'll never leave you again, and you'll never be frightened anymore. I must leave you now for a few hours. Where will I meet you?
I'll be going to the chapel this evening. I shall wait for you there.
I haven't spent much time in chapels. You'll be making a religious man out of me.
You never pray for anything.
I never have.
You must learn to pray.
All right, dearest. I'll see you this evening about 10 in the chapel.
I'll be waiting for you, my darling.
Well, Anna Korakina.
Your Majesty.
I've been waiting a long time for you.
My rooms are greatly honored by your presence.
You have caused a great deal of trouble in this court. I am sending you away.
No. Oh, no, please, I beg of you, don't send me away.
There is a carriage ready and waiting. Get your things together.
Where are you sending me?
To the east. You will know your destination when you arrive there. You are never to see your Admiral Jones again.
Your Majesty, we were married yesterday. He's my husband.
Married. And that marriage will be stricken from the records. I did not authorize it. Therefore, it does not exist. So, get your things together before I lose all patience with you.
Yes, Your Majesty.
You seem oddly composed for someone who has defied me and dared my anger.
It's very strange, I know. But for the first time in my life, I'm not afraid. I'm the wife of a man named Jones. Nothing is going to change that. And I'm not afraid. I'm not afraid.
Nato! I want to see the Empress. I've got to see the Empress.
The Empress will not see you now. She says your ship is ready to sail and you're to leave for the Black Sea within the hour.
I'll not leave here, Nato. Where is Anna? Where have they taken her?
I don't know. And if I did, I wouldn't tell you.
I can't sail without knowing where she is. I've got to find her.
If you don't sail, you'll never find her. That much I will tell you. Ah, you're strangely pale for so brave a man. Your hands are shaking. Your eyes are a little wild. Can this be the man that fears nothing? Can this be the man that is never afraid?
I'm afraid now. Oh, I am afraid now. In just a moment, we will bring you the second act of A Man Named Jones. These are the days when you never know about the weather. Warm one day, cold the next. Yes, it's cold-catching weather, so be careful. And when you do come down with a cold, friends do what millions of folks do, benefit by their personal experience, and rub Vicks Vapor Rub on your throat, chest, and back. Then just feel Vapor Rub's famous relief-giving action start right to work to help relieve upper bronchial congestion and irritation, to ease the coughing spasms, sore throat, and that muscular soreness or tightness. Now, here's the reason results are so wonderful. Vapor Rub penetrates into the cold, congested upper bronchial tubes with its special soothing vapors, and at the same time it stimulates chest and back surfaces like a comforting, warming poultice. And for hours, this penetrating, stimulating action of Vapor Rub keeps on working to bring such grand and welcome relief. Now, when a cold strikes, remember, only Vapor Rub gives you this special penetrating, stimulating action. It's the best-known home remedy for relieving miseries of colds. Time-tested, home-proved, Vicks Vapor Rub.
And now the second act of A Man Named Jones, starring Victor Jory, with Inga Adams as the Princess Anna Karakina and Arnold Moss as Prince Nassau.
Admiral Jones, we are pleased with the victories you have won for us in the past years. And we feel that thanks to those victories, we have no further need of your services in a military capacity.
I'm glad to have pleased Your Majesty.
Victory has always pleased me very much. We consider you the greatest admiral in the world today.
Thank you. Now may I ask your kindness and sympathy?
In what way?
Where can I find the Princess Anna Karakina?
Admiral, The kindest thing I could say to you is, forget Anna Korakina.
Forget her. All the time I was fighting and winning, it was for her. I felt that every victory brought me closer to her. Forget her. I could forget everything in the world before I could forget her.
I could show you 100, 1,000 more beautiful women.
They would not be more beautiful to me.
Would you not like to sit here beside me and help me rule? An empire is heavy for a woman's shoulders.
You wear yours magnificently, Your Majesty.
What does this Anna Korakina have that inspires such deathless devotion?
I don't know how to put it into words, unless there's beauty of soul. Somehow she makes you stronger and braver than you are, although she is not exactly a brave woman. She makes me want to kneel at her feet, and I'm somehow filled with gratitude that such a person as Anna Korakina could be in love with me. Now, Your Majesty, if you'll permit me, I'll take my leave of you.
Where are you going?
Why, I'm going to hunt for Anna. I'm going to hunt the length and breadth of Russia until I find her.
Russia's a big country. One could die in such a search.
I would rather die hunting for her than to live without her.
I wish you liked me better. You might have done well had you liked me better.
Goodbye, Empress Catherine.
Do you know where to begin your search?
Yes. I think I do know.
Nestor! Get up and get your sword. I have an account to settle with you.
You fool, Jones. You've lost
I'll find her again. If you care anything for life, you tell me where she is.
I'll see you in hell before I'll tell you.
You'll be there if you don't.
Hurry. Take that sword away from my throat. Take that sword away.
Hurry.
They took her east. That's all I know. They took her east.
Yes. Well, then, to the east.
Good morning. Won't you dismount and rest a while, stranger? You look very tired.
No, thank you. I'm hunting for a girl. She would have passed this way 2 years ago. A very beautiful girl with yellow hair and blue eyes and long braids that she wore like a crown. Her name was Anna Korakina.
Anna...
Do you know the name?
I cannot say that I do, but dismount and rest a while, stranger. The sun is hot today. It is about the hottest day of summer.
No, I've got to keep moving. I've got to keep moving to the east.
Don't go out in a storm like this. You haven't a proper wrap to wear in a blizzard. Wait until the storm passes.
I can't wait. I've got to get on. Too much time has passed already.
Here, drink another bowl of soup. You look as though you hadn't had a decent meal in years.
Thank you, but I must be on my way. I'm hunting for someone.
I will pray that you'll find him. My husband has an extra coat. Take it, and God go with you, stranger.
Thank you. Thank you.
Evening to you, stranger. Will you sit and share a gypsy supper? I am Mother Anna.
Anna is a name beloved to me. Thank you. I should be most grateful. Ah, how gay they are, dancing in the firelight. It's been a long time since I've seen dancing. I've forgotten how long.
The dancers are always gay in the spring. You are a long way from the sea, stranger.
Why do you speak of the sea, Mother Anna?
Some people have a look of the sea about them. And you are one. The future is sometimes clear to me. And I know you are halfway, perhaps a little better, on your journey, stranger.
Do you also know the purpose of my journey?
Yes. You follow a lady. A very great lady.
Will I find her?
You will find her when you have learned how to pray.
Where is she? When will I see her? Where is she?
I don't know that. I only know you will find her when you have learned how to pray. And your way lies further east. Further east. Further east.
I am hunting for Anna Karakina. Have you seen a lady beautiful as the morning? A princess named Anna Karakina. I am hunting for Anna Karakina. I've taught you somewhere in the east. I'm hunting for Anna. I'm hunting for Anna. I'm hunting for Anna.
I found this man face down in the snow by the ravine. He was saying Anna Kurakina over and over. We must get him to the convent. He must have food and care. He has the look of death upon him.
Would you like a drink of water?
Who are you?
I'm Sister Maria. I've been nursing you.
Nursing me? Where am I?
You're at the convent of Novo de Vici. Some shepherds found you unconscious in the snow. My friend, I'm not going to ask you any questions. It is not our habit here. You talked quite a lot in your delirium. I know that you're unhappy and in torment. And I want to help you.
Can you help me?
When we are troubled here, we pray for help and guidance. You may find your help in prayer.
Pray. I think I'd like to try.
Come. Lean on me. I'll take you to the chapel.
Dear Father in heaven, help me. I've waited so long. I've traveled such a weary way. I'll do anything if I can just find her. She's all that's good in me. She's religion and faith and holiness and life and healing. I don't know a lot about praying, but now that I look back on them, I think these past years have all been a prayer. Dear God, please. Please show me where to find her.
Hello.
Why? Hello.
Who are you?
I'm no one.
Where's your home?
Nowhere and everywhere.
That's a funny answer.
Not so funny. Everyone can't have a home like you.
Oh, this place isn't my home. My home is in Virginia, my mother said.
Virginia? What's your name?
My name? John Paul Jones.
John Paul Jones?
Uh-huh. What's yours?
My name is John Paul Jones, too.
Mother? Mother!
Yes, son. What is it?
Anna!
John?
Anna, my darling, my darling, my darling.
John, my dear. I've been waiting so long.
You knew I would come?
I knew you would come. Are we going home to Virginia now?
We are going to Virginia now. We're going to Virginia and we're going to live the rest of our lives together.
And no one will say this or do that. All they will ask is that you will love Virginia.
You taught him that.
His father taught him that.
My darling. My darling.
In just a moment, an important message from Victor Jory. My friends, hear that melody. For 77 Sundays over another network, this unforgettable melody has ushered in 30 minutes of music that has given so much pleasure to so many. Yes, as you probably know, it is the opening theme of the Stradivari Orchestra, with its rare and priceless Stradivari violins that weave such magical warmth and beauty into the melodies you know and love. Well, next Sunday, this popular Stradivari Orchestra, under the direction of Paul Laval and presented by Prince Machiavelli, creator of Stradivari perfume, will be presented at this time. So don't forget, you have a date, a thrilling date, next Sunday and the Sundays thereafter at this same time over this network with the Stradivari Orchestra.
This is Victor Jory. Well, my friends, this is the closing play of the season. I want you to know how much I've enjoyed playing in these productions for you. I want to thank Vicks and Mark Warno, Dick Sandville, Martin Gable, Gene Holloway, Ed Wolf and Nick Dawson, our producers, and all of the production staff for their excellent work and cooperation. And I want to thank you, my friends, for your many letters of appreciation, particularly the thousands you have written during the past 2 weeks asking me to bring the Matinee Theater back to you as soon as possible. If you would like me to bring these productions back to the air quickly, perhaps even this summer, write me immediately. Many of your letters have been coming in with signatures of the whole family and other groups. Well, it's up to you. Each and every request will count. Write me care of Columbia Broadcasting System, New York 22, New York. May I repeat that? Address me, Victor Jory, care of Columbia Broadcasting System, New York 22, New York. And so until we meet again, thank you. Good afternoon.
Our play was written by Gene Holloway and based on material on the life of John Paul Jones in the book Knights of the Sea by Valentine Thompson. It was directed by Richard Sandville. Music for the series is under the direction of Mark Warno. This is CBS, the Columbia Broadcasting System.
Johnson Wax Program, presenting Marion and Jim Jordan as Fibber, McGee, and Molly. Ted Weems and his orchestra open the show with Do You Mean It? According to schedule, this is the moment when we tell you housewives how you can give your floors and linoleum a beautiful, bright polish without any work of rubbing or buffing. That is, if you use Glow Coat, Johnson's self-polishing Glow Coat. While you sit back and take it easy, this remarkable liquid polish makes your floors gleam like new. You have no idea how much more attractive your rooms will look after your floors are polished with Glow Coat. It seems to give freshness and brightness to the whole house. And the work it saves you. Glow Coat protects floors with a wear-resisting polish that sheds dust and dirt and reduces floor cleaning work to practically nothing.
Ask your dealer tomorrow for Glow Coat in the attractive yellow can. It's spelled GLO-COAT. Johnson's Self-Polishing Glow Coat, made by the makers of Johnson's Wax. Well, as you may have heard elsewhere, Christmas is approaching. So Fibber is looking through the newspaper for a temporary job to make a little Yuletide pin money. And here in the living room at 79 Wistful Vista, reading the paper and darning socks, respectively, we find Fibber, McGee, and Volley.
McGee, why don't you go out and help Silly with the dishes before you read the paper?
Oh, Sil's getting along all right. Ain't you, Sil? Sure is. Say, here's an interesting item in the paper, Molly.
What is it?
Mae West is recovering from her operation nicely.
What was she operated on for?
It was the only way they could get her hand off her hip.
Oh.
Here's a nice item about Sing Sing, Molly.
Oh, read it to me, McGee. Your friends are my friends, you know.
Just for that, I won't read it to you.
Okay.
Excuse me, please, ma'am. Excuse me, Mr. McGee.
What's the matter, Sil?
Well, where do the sauce and cuppers go?
Where did the what go?
The sauce and cuppers.
You mean the cost and supper.
No, he means the sup and cotters.
Yes, sir. What I say?
Why, you said the sauce and cuppers.
Did I? Well, that's cute. No, ma'am. But where do they go, please, ma'am?
On the top shelf to the left of the cabinet, Silly.
Yes, ma'am.
Here's another cute item, Molly. It says here...
Say, I thought you were looking at the want ads for a job.
Oh, I'll get to them soon enough, Molly. Nobody ever got a job by leaping right into them like that.
Oh.
Got to sneak up on them. Listen to this. This is a pretty hot item. Bill McGee, Columbus right-hander, leads the American Association for 1936 with an average of .619. Bill McGee. I wonder if that could be Cousin Willie that I taught to pitch back in Peoria when I was a top southpaw in the 3I League.
3I? That would be your league. I.
I taught young Bill McGee to pitch a baseball by throwing lemons at nails I pounded into the side of the big barn. I made him throw lemons till he could stick them onto a nail every time. Why, by the spring of 21, that barn was stained lemon yellow all over. Funny thing, too. The acid in them lemons was so astringent that it shrunk the barn way down. We had to use it for a doghouse.
I suppose he wrote that song. Picture me without you.
Excuse me, please, ma'am.
Oh, now what's the matter, Silly?
Well, where do the shakers go, please, ma'am?
The shakers?
Most of them go into burlesque shows, Bud.
Oh. Salt shakers, they're gonna...
Oh, yes, sir.
They go on the lower shelf to the right, Silly.
Thank you, ma'am. I'll put it near through now, ma'am.
Well, straighten things up and you can go on home.
Yes.
Listen to this, Molly. It says here that Japan is trying to influence the elections in China. They're offering free rice for voters.
I see. As chow mein goes, so goes the country.
Gee, here's a movie I'd like to see. It's all about that old army officer who gets up at daylight to darken his gray hair.
What picture's that?
The general died at dawn. I'd like to see this Charge of the Light Brigade, too.
Charge of the Light Brigade?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that reminds me, McGee. The bill from the electric company came this morning. Say, aren't you at the want ads yet?
I'm just reading them now, Molly. Aha! Here's just the thing.
What?
The Wistful Vista jewelry shop needs a helper. I think I'm going to enjoy that job.
Oh, you think you will. Why don't you get the job first?
Why, shucks, it's in the bag, Molly. Watch what you can do with brains and personality. Hand me that phone.
Here.
Hello, operator. Give me 7-Eleven. Dear old Lookout Mountain. Hello. Number 7-Eleven? Huh? Oh, excuse me. Hello, operator. I didn't get 7-Eleven. No. Throw 'em again. Hello, Wistful Vista Jewelry Shop? Fibber McGee speaking.
Asking for the job real nice.
Hello, Mr. Sinful Bomb? Say, I was driving past your jewelry store this morning about 30 miles an hour, and I noticed you got a stick pin in your window with a diamond in it. Sure, but I noticed a flaw in the diamond. Okay, I'll hold the phone while you take a look.
Say, how could you see a flaw in a diamond in the window across the street at 30 miles an hour?
Quiet, Molly. Now take it easy. Hello, Sinful Bomb. It has got a flaw, eh? I thought so. What? Oh, that wasn't so tough for a fellow that knows diamonds like I do. Huh? Why? Oh, no, I wouldn't be interested. Huh? No, I wouldn't. How much does it pay? Oh, just a few days, huh? Well. Okay, I'll take it, just as a favor to you, Sinful Bomb. Okay, be right down. Well, Molly, we got a job.
McGee, what is this? How did you know there was a flaw in that diamond?
I used to own it, Molly. I lost it to Mort Toops in a poker game, and he sold it to Sinful Bomb. I seen it in the window yesterday. Come on, let's go.
And now Ted Weems and his orchestra play Who Loves You, featuring Perry Cole.
Who loves you? Ask yourself the question. Who loves you, sweetheart? And tell me who thinks of you 1,000,000 times a day. And who's blue and lonely, honey, when you're away? Say who did you every minute? Who fell for you from the start? Oh, who just longs for your caresses? Don't have to take 3 guesses. Who loves you, sweetheart?
Vista Jewelry Shop, where Mr. Sinful Bomb, the proprietor, highly impressed by McGee's expert knowledge of jewels, has taken the day off and left our friends in charge.
Well, what on earth do you know about jewelry, McGee?
Oh, don't worry about me, Molly. Nobody's going to take any diamonds from under my nose.
Oh, no?
No.
Well, who's going to take the rings from under your eyes?
You think nobody else knows anything about jewelry just because your Uncle Dennis was took away in bracelets?
Don't be funny, McGee. Me uncle was only detained on a technicality.
Yeah, sure. They tell me that technicality carried about 50,000 volts.
Well, what I want to know is, suppose somebody comes in here and wants you to fix a watch or something.
Don't worry, I know my stuff. Why, I used to remodel 8-day clocks into wristwatches for 6-day bike racers. Say, what did Sinful Bomb say about the burglar alarms?
Why, he says, always press this button before you open the showcase or the alarm rings. Like this, you see?
Oh, I get it. If you press the button first, it don't ring.
That's it.
Oh. Hi, Bud. What can I do for you?
Good day to you, laddie. I don't know what I'm saying. I just come in to set my watch.
Oh, well, go right ahead, sir.
Thank you, lass. But which clock is the right one?
Well, we got all kinds of clocks around here, Bud. Just pick out any one and set your watch by it.
Aye, but they're all different times.
Well, the time is different all over the world, Scotty, and we got an international reputation. Where are you from?
Edinburgh.
Okay. Set it by that clock over there. It's about 11:30 in Edinburgh right now.
A.M. or P.M.?
I am.
So am I.
Well, of all the silly...
Say, Molly, did you see the cute little cufflinks they got here in the showcase?
The button, McGee, the button. Shut it off. Shut it.
Oh. I always forget that thing. I was going to say that these cufflinks remind me of some I had once. I still got one of them, but the other's missing.
It would be. You're the type.
What type?
The missing link type. Mrs. Wearybottom.
Oh, yes. My. Hi, O'Weary. How you been?
Oh, I've been all right. Oh, goodness me, this Christmas shopping just wears a body out, don't it? It certainly does. It seems that I'm on the go from morning till night, and I don't seem to get a thing accomplished that I set out to do. Oh, I've got a shopping list as long as your leg, only you're a little too short. Have you got any fountain pens?
Fountain pen, sis? Oh, yeah, but shucks, you better think twice before you get a fountain pen. I don't believe you got the confidence to work crossword puzzles with a pen. And besides, think how they're liable to leak.
McGee, maybe Mrs. Wearybottom wants a fountain pen.
I know, but I was just going to tell about my old pal Wilcox. Harpo Wilcox was his name. He used to be a radio announcer. Well, sir, Harpo took him a fancy for a fountain pen, just like you, Mrs. Wearybottom. And it leaked so much he had to go into the undertaking business because he didn't dare wear anything but black. And there he was, a radio announcer at heart, forced into a business where he had to talk in whispers. Just on account of a little fountain pen.
Well, my goodness, imagine that. Now, I guess it just goes to show, doesn't it, what a little thing can do. It seems harmless, and yet it can change the whole course of a body's life. And just when I was considering opening up a little bakery on 14th and Oak Streets, too, and here I almost buy a fountain pen. Imagine me as a mortician. I don't believe I could do it. Merry Christmas to both of you. McGee, that kind of salesmanship will never put money in the cash register.
Well, Molly, it ain't the tinkle of the cash register that tickles a merchant. It's the happy gleam in the eyes of his customer.
Oh, how do you do?
Hi, Bud. What's on your mind?
Allow me to introduce myself. I'm Horatio K. Boomer, sir, of the Brazilian Boomers.
Oh, a Brazilian boomer, eh?
Yes. As half owner in the Boomer mines in Brazil, the world's greatest diamond-bearing straighter, yes, getting straighter and straighter all the time, I am authorized to part with a small handful of our genuine Brazilian stones at a sacrifice.
Who sacrificed? Ours?
Quiet, Molly. Let's see some of them gems, Boomer.
Certainly, my boy, certainly. Here, a dozen of diesel dazzle you.
Wait till I put a magnifying lens in my eye. There. Say, this here's a beautiful stone, Molly. Look, a pink diamond with a black edge.
Sorry, my boy, that's my fingernail you're looking at.
You got the glass wrong side, too, in your eye, Eagernut.
Whose eye? Oh, yeah. Well, they're good-looking stones anyway, Molly. How much a pound, Bud?
A pound?
Heavenly days, a pound of diamonds?
Well, then how about 2 pounds? Anyway, I saw some with flaws in them.
But your flaws and linoleum will look like new again after a beauty treatment of Johnson's Glow Coat.
Mr. Wilcox.
Don't pay any attention to him, Molly. He's just a rough diamond looking for a place to set. Well, how much a pound for the stones, Bud?
Well, I'd say in the neighborhood of $50 a pound, in a very nice neighborhood, too. I can only spare a couple of pounds.
Well, let's see how much money there is in the cash register.
McGee, you can't haul off and buy a lot of
Quiet, Molly. This is an important deal. I'm sorry, Boomer. There's only about $27 in the till.
Well, now, let me see. Perhaps I can make some small adjustment in the price. The hand that has tilled the soil can never soil the till, if that means anything. Probably doesn't. Just a moment till I figure out the import duties and the Social Security. 19% ad valorem, 40% to the Peoria Glass Company, new front fender, and a short beard. Yes, my friend, I find I can make the price exactly $27 a pound.
Okay, I'll take it.
And I don't mind telling you, you've made a good buy.
Okay.
So have I. Goodbye.
Can you imagine that, Molly? Buying a pound of diamonds for $27. Real Brazilian ones, too. And you know what that means.
What, Brazilian?
Yes.
Yes.
What?
Nuts, both of you.
You'll probably have a lot of company in your home around the holidays. The kitchen will be a busy room with baking and candy making going on, and a lot of things are likely to be spilled on the floor. That means extra work for you unless your linoleum and floors are protected with Johnson's Glow Coat. If your floors do have a shining Glow Coat polish, you won't have to worry about grease spots or stains. Dirt can be easily wiped off the surface, and the floor will stay bright and clean for a long time. Why don't you save yourself a great deal of work by ordering Johnson's self-polishing Glow Coat tomorrow? It takes only a few minutes to apply, and there's no rubbing or buffing. Glow Coat dries to a beautiful polish in just 20 minutes. And when you order Glow Coat, made by the makers of Johnson's Wax, remember, you save money by getting the larger sizes. Well, Mr. Sinfulbaum, the proprietor of the jewelry store, is still away, leaving Fibber and Molly in charge. They haven't sold anything yet, but as Fibber says, they're building goodwill. Who are they to put business before sentiment? And here they are with another customer.
Yes, I want an engagement ring. Something good. You know how it is.
Well, isn't that sweet, McGee? I feel so romantic selling an engagement ring. I feel sort of like a Cupid.
Hey, this ain't any weather to feel like a Cupid, Molly. Make it Santa Claus and keep your mittens on.
Well, listen here now. I suppose it's more important to me than you. How about an engagement ring?
Listen, Bud, I don't believe you understand the seriousness of marriage. Have you considered pretty well taking this step?
Well,
There, you see? You haven't considered all the angles. Well, have you got any right to gamble on this girl's future? Suppose she loses her job. But, how do you know what fortune holds for you? What's waiting around the corner?
My girl.
Aha! Then I'm still in time. Now, you just go home and think it over, Bud. And years later, you'll be bouncing the little fella on your knee and telling him, thank goodness Mr. McGee talked me out of that marriage.
Say,
Huh?
who's the little fella then?
That's his nephew.
Oh.
Well, so long, Bud, and good luck.
Yeah.
No, don't thank me. It's perfectly all right. I do the same thing for anybody.
Well, a fine business. Try to talk a man out of his own wedding.
Listen, Molly, an engagement ring might look pretty small to you, but it's big enough so 9 men out of 10 can put their foot in it.
Oh, hello there, little girl.
Oh, hi there, sis.
Hi.
What can we do for you? I says, what is it you want? Cute, isn't she, Molly? Doing your Christmas shopping, sis?
I'm not going to do any, I betcha.
Oh, you aren't, huh? Why not?
Hmm?
I says, why not?
Why not what?
Why not do any Christmas shopping?
Who for?
For anybody.
Oh, no, mister. I can't shop for just anybody, I bet.
No. I mean, well, listen, what do you want?
I want a doll buggy and a sled and a bottle of perfume and ski.
No. I didn't say what did you want.
You did, too, I betcha.
Well, I meant what did you want in here? What'd you come in for? Listen, what is it you want us to do?
Fix my wristwatch, I betcha.
Oh.
It's always the same time. Looky.
Let's see. Look, Molly, a 10-cent wristwatch with the band painted on it, with the hands painted on it.
Talk yourself out of that, smart boy.
I don't know, sis. This here's a pretty good watch. It says 12 o'clock on it, just as plain.
I know it. But, gee, it isn't always 12 o'clock, I betcha.
Well, I know, but listen. 12 o'clock is about the time Santa Claus comes down your chimney. And this watch is so you won't forget to watch for him. You see? Yes, sir. Look at that little face, Molly, drinking in every word I say. Yep. So you just wait up till Santa Claus comes down the chimney, sis, and then look at your watch, and it'll say just 12 o'clock exactly.
Do you really think Santa Claus will come down our chimney, mister?
You betcha, sis.
And to think I'd ask a guy like you to fix my wristwatch.
I can just see that little face drinking in every word you said to him.
What's the fellow going to do?
Oh, it's Billy Watson. Hello, Sylvius. What you got there?
Oh, hi, Phil. What's on your mind?
Hi, ma'am. How are you, boss? I didn't know y'all work here.
Oh, sure.
Well, could y'all fix this little old clock, please, sir?
Who, me?
Yeah.
Why, shucks, Phil. You come to the blessed clock fixer in the business today. Why, I gave Big Ben his first haircut. Yes, sir. And put 3 new crystals in the watch on the run. Can I fix a clock?
Well, can you?
Yeah, sir. Can you?
Why, I used to be known as Clock Dr. McGee out in Cooper, Colorado.
Oh,
Clock Dr. McGee, the conscientious corrector of chronological creations and clever crystal craftsman of Cooper, Colorado. Who said that?
Nobody, Mr. McGee. That's this little old clock, please, sir. She done cuckoo on the slightest provocation.
Oh, it just needs a little adjustment, Phil. Now, hold it like this. Hand me a screwdriver, Molly. I think I know what's wrong. Thanks. Now, let's see. Oh, yeah. Hold it now, Phil.
Yes, I guess.
Excuse me, please. Have you the correct time?
You betcha, sis. It's just...
3 o'clock. Can you imagine that? I was 4 hours fast.
one touch of cuckoo makes the whole world kin.
The whole world can what?
The whole world can make their homes brighter with Johnson's wax.
Smart bird you got there, Phil.
Yes, sir.
Hey, who's the proprietor in here, Sonny?
Oh, hello there, Grandma. Wait on her, Molly, while I fix this clock.
Wait on her yourself, mastermind. You've sold nothing yet today. I'll see what I can do with the clock.
Okay, but if she was...
Well, Skippy, do I get waited on or don't I?
Okay, Grandma. What was it you wanted? Something in a nice...
Never mind going into your sales talk, Skippy. I know what I want.
What?
I want a slave bracelet for my ankle.
What did your uncle want with a slave bracelet?
Not uncle, ankle.
Oh, a slave bracelet for your ankle. You a slave, Grandma?
I'll say so. A slave to love. Oh, me.
Oh, sure. Well, now, let's see. What size, Grandma?
Oh, just fit it on my ankle, Shorty. Here, I'll put my foot up on the counter so you can...
Hey, watch the glass, Grandma.
Hey, the button, McGee, the button. Shut off the button.
It don't work. The glass is busted.
Don't bust my face, McGee. It's the police, McGee. It's the police.
What's the matter?
What's going on in here?
What do you want?
Why, officer, we, can you fix a cuckoo clock?
McGee. Whatever was wrong with that cuckoo clock of Silly's?
Well, I didn't want to say anything, Molly. That, after all, a clock's got the right to lead its own life.
What? Yes, but what was...
When I got the clock apart, I found the cuckoo had laid an egg.
Oh, dear. Well, how about us?
Good night.
Good night, all.
Harlow Wilcox speaking and inviting you all to join us again next week at this same time. Good night.
The selection, Say It With Music, heard on this program is from the Music Box Review. This is the Red Network of the National Broadcasting Company. WMAQ, the Chicago Daily News station. Tickets are available for the 11 o'clock Fibber McGee broadcast. If you would like to attend one of these late performances, write to the Johnson program in care of WMAQ, Chicago.
This is John Daly on a little sagebrush-covered mesa overlooking the mission Alamo. The besieged and completely surrounded garrison of Free Texans, less than 200 men, are still blocking the advance of Santa Anna's 3,000 Mexican troops into the heart of Free Texas. They still hold out, but it may be that on this morning of March 6, 1836, Santa Anna's troops will storm forward in their final all-out attack. For a short while ago, Santa Anna's cannon, which for 11 days have kept up a relentless bombardment of the Alamo, suddenly ceased firing. And there are signs of activity in the Mexican lines. Couriers began to dash to and from Santa Anna's headquarters.
The Alamo, March 6, 1836. CBS is there.
The defense of the Alamo. CBS asks you to imagine that our microphone is present at this unforgettable moment of Texas history. All things are as they were then, except for one thing.
CBS is there.
This broadcast, the sixth in a special summer series produced and directed for Columbia by Robert Louis Cheon, is based on authentic historical fact and quotation. And now,
The Alamo, March 6, 1836, and John Daly.
Out before us, we wonder, as the whole world wonders, what is going on inside the Alamo. The little mission, which looks like a brown roosting hen, its head the bell tower, and its body the rectangular stockade that stretches back from the mission proper, is ominously quiet. Our CBS mobile unit is outside the Mexican lines and about a half a mile away from the Alamo. The Mexicans have taken no notice of our unit since they first questioned us when we arrived on the scene. The fact that the United States is officially neutral in this revolt of the Texas patriots against the Santa Anna government still protects us and permits us to continue our observation and reports without let or hindrance. No military action in all history can be compared to this siege. These men, these Texans, could have escaped. They had full warning of Santa Anna's approach with his army of 3,000, but they chose to stand because they knew that unless Santa Anna was stopped, if only for a few precious days, unless his relentless march was stalled, all of Free Texas would fall before the invaders. Of course, it's still possible that the Alamo may be relieved. It's still possible that reinforcements may come. Involuntarily, we keep staring toward the east. Along the road, relief may come, must come, if it is to come, a road swept by a cold March wind. Actually, we know that the chances for relief are so small as to be practically non-existent. These Texans, these farm boys and trappers and cattle raisers, these lads who a few weeks ago were plowing fields and milking cows, have almost overnight become soldiers. And meanwhile, one of the most puzzling aspects of the situation has been the continued silence of the portable radio transmitter we know to be inside the Alamo. Our technicians have been on the alert constantly, day and night, but so far we have not been able to get any signal from within the walls. Meantime, the panorama of battle stretches out before us. It looks like some toy battlefield, but we know it is real. The bodies of white-clad Mexican soldiers sprawled on the ground are real. The red blood flag denoting no quarter flies from Santa Anna's lines. Soldiers always say that waiting is worse than battle. We know what they mean now, but we will wait here. And this is John Daly, returning you to the temporary capital of this infant nation, Washington on the Brazos, and Ken Roberts.
This is Ken Roberts inside the small, rude, unpainted building which houses the Free Texas Convention, or Consultation as it is called. That cold March wind John Daly spoke about is blowing on the Brazos, too, and the windows of the building have been covered with canvas in an attempt to hold out the cold. The convention, which is working on the Free Texas Constitution, is in recess. Most of the delegates are standing about in small, solemn groups. They're talking quietly and soberly of the news they've just heard from John Daly, the news that the final all-out attack on the Alamo may be impending. Mrs. Eliza Benson, who lives in the neighborhood, is here with me now. She has kindly consented to answer a few questions. Mrs. Benson, I understand you have a son with Lieutenant Colonel Travis at the Alamo.
Yes, I have, Mr. Roberts.
Well, how long has he been in the Army?
Oh, not long. 2 weeks, maybe. We only been in Texas all told less than 3 months.
Where did you come from, Mrs. Benson?
From Indian Territory out near Independence Way. See, we had a few acres that Sam, my husband, bought from the land office.
Uh-huh.
And the Indians come and Sam was killed. We didn't have anything, not even a wagon. So I took my boy Philip and we walked down here. 250 miles. Sure was a long walk.
Yes, it must have been. And now you have a home here in Texas?
Well, we got some acreage near Goliad. But just when Philip was getting set to put in a crop, all this trouble started. All the young men went into the Army, and Philip, he went too.
Do you think those boys, Philip and the others, will be able to hold off Santa Anna?
Well, I didn't know anything about that. Philip is where God put him. It's not for his mother or anyone else to decide such questions. But I know the men who are with him, Billy Travis, Colonel Boyd, David Crockett, and the other lads from our little town, other towns in Texas, they'll be doing what they should be doing. They'll be brave.
Thank you, Mrs. Benson. I wish you could see these faces around me now. They're American faces, wind-bitten and square-jawed. The language is the language of the Tennessee hills, the Mohawk Valley, the farmlands, the old frontiers, the places you and I know. Although until 4 days ago, when the Texas Declaration of Independence was signed, this land had been politically foreign, it has long been culturally and physically allied to the United States. These people, these Texans, are the cousins and the brothers and the husbands of our own families. They are our kin. For example, the Texan, the typical Texan who's standing at our CBS microphone now. He's a tall, bony figure of a man in buckskin breeches and homespun shirt. He's grinning at the description. What is your name, sir?
Smithwick. Noah Smithwick.
And where is your home, Mr. Smithwick?
Well, I got a parcel out San Felipe way.
Well, where was your home before you came to Texas, Mr. Smithwick?
Kentucky. Hopkinsville.
And what brought you to Texas?
Well, I reckon the same thing that brought the others. A chance to own some land, new start. Maybe just a kind of itch to haul up anchor and see some new ports.
You talk like a Navy man.
Well, I was one during the war against England. 1812.
I see.
Yeah. Gunner's mate on the good old Constitution. Ironside, that was.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I came home after the war and kind of couldn't get used to things, you know. And a fella come through town, he talked mighty big about this here place called Texas and said as how old Moses Austin got himself a whopping big grand of land and was offering farmland and some 400 acres of pasture to folks who'd come down this way. So pack up my kit and caboodle and come down.
Well, did you get all that was promised to you, Mr. Smithwick?
Got some.
Well, is Texas what you expected it to be?
Well, I reckon it's a mite different from what we was told it would be.
How's that, sir?
Well, this fellow who signed us up, he's a tolerable good liar, you know.
Liar?
Yeah. He said that there'd be no taxes, and he said as how the country was so full of game. Now, get this. Wild horses, turkey, and buffalo, that all one would have to do to get a meal is pitch a bowie knife over his left shoulder. And he said as how when you planted corn, you'd have to back up real fast so as the stalk wouldn't bash in the chin coming up. Terrible good lie.
Well, Mr. Smithwick.
Yeah.
How do you feel about what the boys at the Alamo are doing? Holding off Santa Anna, I mean. Giving Texas time.
Oh, well, I tell you, I figure this way, Mr. Roberts. That's your name, isn't it?
That's right, sir.
Yeah. Well, those boys, they kind of calculated what the situation was and did what they figured was needed. And it's a right grand thing they're doing, and we ain't forgetting that either. Those boys know what they're fighting for.
Yes, I guess they do.
We got no more reason to be part of Mexico than we has to be part of China, you know.
How's that, Mr. Smithwick?
Well, we don't speak the same language, think the same way, and that ain't all. We've been doing our best, you know, to mind our own business, asking precious little. But now what's happened? Well, I tell you, Steve Austin goes down to Mexico City to speak our cause, And Santa Anna smacks him into a dungeon for almost a year. Now tell me, is that how free citizens get treated in a decent country?
Oh, I guess it isn't.
No, you guess right. We ask for schools for our kids and little things like trial by jury and the right to speak a piece when we're in a mind to speak. Now, I know what the talk is how we're all of us here nothing but a crew of pirates and ruffians out to stir up trouble. Well, that just ain't so. We're plain, ordinary, God-fearing
Excuse me, Mr. Weirquick. A rider has just entered the convention hall. His clothes are caked with mud. He looks tired. He looks as if he's ridden a long way and ridden hard. The men are crowding around him now, but he's pushing his way through to the desk. I'm going to try to get up to him. One side, please. Would you step aside, please? Get off that cable. Please, let me through. Please. Where's the rider, sir? Where is he from?
Billy Travis from the Alamo. He's got a dispatch for General Houston.
The rider is from the Alamo. He's come from the Alamo. General Sam Houston has just entered the hall. The rider is talking to him now. And there's Mr. Richard Ellis, the president of the convention. The news of the rider's arrival is spread all over. All the delegates are pouring in now. General Houston is reading the dispatch handed to him by the rider. It must be news from the Alamo at last. News from inside the Alamo. Now General Houston is talking to Mr. Ellis. He's pointing to the dispatch. Wait a minute. Just a moment. Mr. Ellis is raising his hand. He's pounding the button.
Quiet, please. Please, quiet. Quiet. Gentlemen, we have here a dispatch from Lieutenant Colonel William B. Travis, commanding the garrison at San Antone de Bexar. General Houston has asked me to read it to you. To the Commander-in-Chief of the Army of Texas. On the 23rd of February, the enemy in large force entered the city of San Antone de Bexar, which could not be prevented as I had not sufficient force to defend my position. Colonel Batters, the adjutant major of the President General Santa Anna, demanded a surrender at discretion, calling us firing rebels. I answered them with a cannon shot. The enemy commenced a bombardment with a 5-inch howitzer, which, together with heavy cannonade, has been kept up incessantly ever since. I instantly sent express to Colonel Fannin at Goliad and to the people of Gonzales and San Felipe. Our numbers are few, and I have every reason to expect an attack from the whole force of the enemy very soon. But I shall hold to the last extremity, hoping to secure reinforcements in a day or two. Do hasten on aid to me as rapidly as possible, as from the superior number of the enemy, it would be impossible for us to keep them out much longer. If they overpower us, we fall a sacrifice at the shrine of our country, and we hope posterity in our country will do our memory justice. Give me help, O my country. Victory or death. Signed W.B. Travis, Lieutenant Colonel. So ends the dispatch.
There it is. There you have it. The first official word of the situation within the Alamo. I hope you heard it as Mr. Ellis read it to the delegates here at Washington on the Brazos this morning of March 6, 1836. Although the dispatch confirms everything John Daly's been able to report to you from the CBS mobile unit, although most of the information contained in the dispatch is already known, still this is the first official word that has come through from the Alamo itself since it was besieged 11 days ago. While the dispatch was defiant, almost heroic, its meaning is clear. The situation was desperate then when there was still hope for reinforcements. It is even more desperate now that hope is dim. Mr. Ellis, General Houston, and some of the delegates have been holding a consultation. Mr. Ellis is calling to order again.
Gentlemen, quiet. Quiet, please, quiet. General Houston, I will now give you your orders. As Commander-in-Chief of the Texas Army, you're ordered forthwith to repair to such place on the frontier as you may deem advisable. You will proceed to establish headquarters and organize an army, and you will require all officers of the army of whatever grade to report to you. And, as it is impossible at this time to determine any particular line of action, you will act according to the emergencies of the occasion and the best dictates of your own judgment for the purpose of protecting our frontier and advancing the best interests of our country.
Thank you, sir. Good day.
You have just heard General Houston's orders as given to him by Mr. Ellis. The general has saluted Mr. Ellis now. He's coming this way, pushing his way through the delegates. They're shaking his hands, patting him on the back, and wishing him well. Oh, General Houston, this is CBS.
Yes?
General Houston, can you tell us anything about your plans?
It is my intention to fight Santa Anna.
But are you ready, sir? Is Texas ready to challenge to fight the immense army of Santa Anna?
When is Texas not ready to fight?
What about the Alamo, General Houston? Can you tell us anything about the Alamo?
Colonel Travis and his boys are standing at the Alamo for one purpose, to give me time to organize a defense against Santa Anna. They saw their duty. They did not waver. I will not waver in mine.
Can you give us a message to the American people, General Houston?
Yes. You heard the dispatch from Colonel Travis. He said, "Give me help, oh my country." Well, I say, volunteers from the United States for the Army of Texas will be welcome. I say to all red-blooded Americans, come to Texas. Come with a good rifle. And come soon. In the name of the men of the Alamo, liberty or death.
Thank you, General Sam Houston, Commander-in-Chief of the Army of Texas. The general is leaving the building now, surrounded by the delegates. These people have placed their highest hopes in Sam Houston, the tight-lipped, broad-shouldered ex-governor from Tennessee, upon whose military skill their very lives are now dependent. Undoubtedly, the events that have happened here in the last few minutes have given John Daly, our CBS correspondent near the Alamo, the first official news of the situation inside the mission. So now, John Daly. Heard some faint sounds from the shortwave transmitter inside the Alamo. The couriers behind Santa Anna's lines have disappeared. The silence has deepened. The wind continues to howl, and the first rays of the sun are now beginning to streak the battlefield before me. I can't tell you how deeply all of us here were moved by the reading of the message from Colonel Travis. As we heard his words, we were able to look down on the mission to see the pitiful inadequacy of its defenses. Less than 200 men against 3,000. The odds are staggering, and they become epic when you stop to think that they were chosen by the less than 200. I keep watching that road over which reinforcements must come. There's no sign of help, but there is something coming through by shortwave from the Alamo. We have a shortwave receiver tuned to their frequency, and the signal is clear. Let's listen to it.
Lieutenant Colonel Travis, our garrison commander, has a message. Here is Lieutenant Colonel Travis. To the people of Texas and all Americans in the world, fellow citizens and compatriots, I have sustained a bombardment and a continual cannonade for many days, and have not lost a man. I shall never surrender or retreat. I call on you in the name of liberty, of patriotism, and everything dear to the American character, to come to our aid with all dispatch. If this call is neglected, I am determined to sustain myself as long as possible and die like a soldier who never forgets what is due to his own honor and that of his country. Victory or death. This is the Alamo. This is the Alamo. That was the commander of our garrison, Lieutenant Colonel William B. Travis, appealing for reinforcements. I hope we're getting through. I hope you heard the colonel, because we sure need those reinforcements. Now, here's the Honorable Davy Crockett. He wants to say a word.
Howdy. Can't talk long, because it looks like we got a little excitement here about. Some of you folks are wondering what an ex-congressman is doing down here in San Antonio. Well, I had a bit of a difference of opinion with my constituents back home in Tennessee. I told them that if they didn't re-elect me, they might all go to blazes, and I'd go to Texas. Here I am. And here's where every freedom-loving man ought to be. I'm proud to identify myself with the fighting men of Texas. I consider it a rare honor to be able to defend, in company with my fellow citizens, the liberties of our common country.
That was the Honorable Davy Crockett talking to the people of the United States of America. Well, where are you, lad? You coming? We're waiting on you. This is the Alamo. This is the Alamo. Hope we're getting through. I reckon you folks might like to know how we're making out here. Well, we got beeves enough, corn enough, and I ain't heard no complaining yet about the supply of liquid refreshments. It's quiet now. Too darn quiet for comfort if you're asking me. Some of the boys are catching a little shut-eye at the posts. And we made up that when the attack comes, the bells here will be rung. And that'll be the alarm. Well, now, some of the boys got some messages there they want me to send, so here goes. Pinky Benedict says for his wife not to worry, and maybe it'd be a good idea if she visited her sister in Memphis for a stretch. Wally Bradley, he says for his kid brother to be sure he watches out for his traps, he said, in the bayou, and to move him over to Short Creek for beaver in about a month. Now, this next one is kind of personal, so all you people listening, stop up your ears, see? It's from Dick Simon. He says to his wife that he sure loves her a heap, and to kiss the baby for her. Kiss him for me, too, Mom. Well, now, that's all for now. This is the Alamo signing off. We'll try to get back on the air again soon. Signing off. Signing off.
You have just heard the first radio message direct from the Alamo. The convention on the Brazos must have heard it also, so back to Convention Hall and Ken Roberts. The impact of the message from the Alamo on the delegates assembled here was profound. They gathered around the radio and hung on every word. Their faces reflected their anxiety, their anguish, their prayers for the boys at the Alamo. But they have not permitted their feelings to sway them from their determination to make Texas free. The delegates have taken up their new day's labor on the draft of the Constitution. They are determined that the time granted them by the stand at the Alamo must not be wasted. These few days of respite may mean the difference between victory for free Texas or death for its dream of independence. And help is on the way, we know that, as Travis and his men hold off Santa Anna on the western frontier. Volunteers from the United States are pouring in from the east. They're coming, they're on the march. Men from Kentucky, Tennessee, Ohio, and Indiana. Men from Maine and New York and Massachusetts. Right at this moment, a transport loaded with troops headed for Texas is about to pull out from a wharf somewhere in Louisiana. For an on-the-spot description of the embarkment of these volunteers, we take you now to Jackson Beck.
This is Jackson Beck on the wharf in Louisiana. A crack regiment of militia, Colonel Thomas Watson commanding, is aboard ship and ready to sail for Texas. There's a band here on the deck serenading the boys, and hundreds of people have turned out to see them off. I'm not permitted to give you their exact number, but I can tell you that the number is not meager, and the men are packed with fight. For the past few days, ever since news of Santa Anna's advance and the siege of the Alamo reached New Orleans, an air of wild excitement has spread over the city. Though the United States government maintains a strict policy of official neutrality, it is inevitable that the natural sympathy for the American colonists in Texas should be translated into action. Enlistment officers are on every street corner. The roll of volunteers swells every hour. Beside me now is the man who commands this detachment, Colonel Tom Watson. Colonel Watson, it looks like your men are anxious to get to Texas.
Anxious, sir? If that steamboat don't sail fast enough, I reckon as how they'll get out and swim. We're all anxious. We're proud to be able to lend a helping hand to our brothers of Texas. To fight for freedom, sir, is man's greatest privilege. If the boys at the Alamo are listening, here's our message to them. We are coming. We are marching to Texas. Victory or death.
Thank you, Colonel Watson. There goes the ship's bell. She's ready to go out. Colonel Watson's going aboard. The excitement of the crowd is now at peak level. The lines have been thrown off. There's the ship's whistle. The big side wheel is beginning to turn. You can probably hear it, threshing the water as the ship gets underway. Now the crowd's going stark raving crazy.
This is the CBS studio in Washington on the Brazos. We have interrupted Jackson Beck because we have a report of action at the Alamo. We take you now to John Daly. Santa Anna has begun the attack on the Alamo. The Alamo bells are sounding the alarm. The Mexican bugles are calling for the charge. We can see it all. It's like a play on a stage spread out before our eyes. The Mexican infantry, dragging escalades to scale the walls, is pouring over the little patch of ground that has separated the Alamo from the Mexican forces. They've been met with a withering fire from the Texans' rifles and small cannon. And although Santa Anna's men are falling like flies, they're still pressing forward. The ground is covered with bodies. The Mexican losses will be terrific no matter what the outcome.
but no one can doubt their bravery. Some of the Escalades are against the walls of the Alamo now, but as far as I can see, not a single Mexican has yet been able to scale them. The smoke and the dust of battle has settled like a pall on this bloody scene. We can hear gunfire, the shouts of officers, the moans and the screams of the wounded. It's a ghastly, horrible glamour of blood and war. There seems to be some slackening of fire from within the Alamo, and Mexican troops have rallied and are storming the walls once again. They're up on the Escalades. I think they've mounted the ladders and are getting inside the Alamo, but there's so much smoke and dust, it's impossible to be sure. Here come the Mexican cavalry. About 1,000 horsemen, they're charging across the field. Their sabers are glittering in the sun. Their horses setting up a terrific cloud of dust. The Alamo is calling. Our shortwave receiver is blasting a message. The Alamo is on the air.
I'm here in a little shop, and I can see them pouring over the wall and dropping into the courtyard. It's a whopping fracas, you take it from me. Over yonder way, on some kind of a scaffolding or something, Colonel Travis has set up a little cannon. He's got it aimed right smack at the courtyard. It's out like a blue, green, red air. But it ain't stopping others from coming over the wall, they're coming even faster. Travis and his boys are trying to reload the cannon. But now the Mexicans opened up. They're firing point blank at him. Travis is down. He's down, but he's still got his pistol. Look at that. He's aiming at one of the officers. Got him. Now they're headed this way. Some of the boys there squatted down in back of the windows and doors. We ain't got time for reloading, and they're coming straight on at us. The boys have turned their rifles upside down. They ain't gonna walk in like they see it was a meeting house. You listening? This is the Alamo. Hold till here. Still fighting. And whatever happens out there, you keep right on fighting, understand? Reckon how the boys could use an extra hand. Travis is dead. Boy is dead. But we ain't. Not yet. Macalo!
This is John Daly. The signal from the Alamo has failed, finished. The flag of Texas is coming down from the mast. The battle is over. The Alamo has fallen. We remember the blood-red flag, the no-quarter sign which flew from Santa Anna's lines, and we wonder how many Texas survivors there are, if any. Santa Anna has promised there will be none, and Santa Anna is noted for his cruelty. He has gained the Alamo, but strictly from a military point of view, he has lost something far more precious, surprise and time. If the defenders of the Alamo had not held him here for 2 weeks, if they'd permitted him to march eastward into the heart of Texas, it's impossible to say what the consequences would have been for Texas' dreams of independence. But now, because of what these less than 200 heroes have done against the enemy's 3,000, now Texas has a fighting chance for freedom. Undoubtedly, they've won for themselves immortality. Undoubtedly, they'll never be forgotten. There will be others who will take their places. Of that you may be certain, for Texas has only just begun to fight. And at this very moment, General Sam Houston is gathering an army of volunteers, men who will soon be ready to take the field against Santa Anna, men who are even now dedicating themselves to avenging the slaughter here. Mexicans are still scaling the Alamo walls amidst the confusion of the littered battles.
San Antonio, March 6, 1836. The Alamo falls, but Texas independence is saved.
You have been listening to CBS Is There, the sixth in a special summer series of broadcasts of famous events. Next week,
the Roman Empire, August 26, 79 A.D. Mount Vesuvius erupts and destroys Pompeii. CBS Is There.
CBS Is There is produced and directed for Columbia by Robert Louis Cheon. Tonight's broadcast was written by Irv Tunick. Democracy isn't just a system of government. It's a doctrine of mankind. It teaches that the next fellow's as good as you, whether he's white or colored, Jew or Gentile. Some people with Nazi techniques are trying to sow the seeds of hatred and prejudice in America. America's no place for it. If someone runs down a neighbor's race or religion, remind him that he's out of joint with democracy. Help keep America democratic and strong. This is CBS, the Columbia Broadcasting System.
Claude Rains as Captain Paul.
the story of John Paul Jones on the Cavalcade of America, presented by DuPont, maker of better things for better living through chemistry. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is Clayton Collier. Today, as we all know, the nation celebrates the birthday of the United States Navy. 166 years ago, in the year 1775, the Continental Congress voted funds for 2 ships and took the first step towards establishing American naval power. Thus began the illustrious tradition of heroic deeds and heroic men, the United States Navy. Tonight, the Cavalcade of America, sponsored by DuPont, brings you a play about a man who was a symbol of this great tradition. Adapted for radio from Commander Edward Ellsberg's bestseller, we present Captain Paul, the story of John Paul Jones, starring the distinguished actor Claude Rains. The year 1775, in the great hallway of an old mansion in His Majesty's colony of Virginia.
Oh, John, my breath. Let me get my breath.
One more kiss, Dorothea, and I'm ready to face 1,000 fathers.
There. Now let's go into his study and tell him. Take my hand. Isn't it a very small thing to ask for?
Yes, the world.
And you're mine, John. Now then. Ready?
Let's get it over with.
Father?
Oh, yes? What is it, Dorothea?
John and I'd like to see you a minute.
Certainly, of course. Come on in. Sit down. Now, what can I do for you, Jones?
Father, John has something to say to you.
Well, let him say it.
I will, sir. I wish to marry your daughter.
Well, that's a matter we'll have to discuss. Dorothea, do you remember that piece of property over in the southeast corner of the estate?
Why, yes, Father.
That's where you will build your home.
Excuse me, sir, but Dorothea and I have other plans. We're going up north, sir. I hope to get a ship and go to sea.
Well, I was under the impression you wanted to get married. And that means settling down, unless I'm mistaken. My daughter is going to marry a gentleman, sir. Look out that window, Jones. You see a lot of pretty fine property, don't you? That's all going to be my daughter's someday. Her husband will have to accept that responsibility.
I have no interest in becoming a landowner, sir. My career is on the sea.
Well, then you and I are wasting time here.
I hope to prove you wrong, sir. But with the revolution coming, there's more important work for me to do than managing a farm. Maybe you haven't heard about it, sir, but there's going to be a new America soon.
Rot. Do you think that all Virginians are excited about what they're doing in Rhode Island or Massachusetts these days?
But I'm trying to tell you that America is going to be free, sir. That there's going to be a war. That we have an army, that we're starting a navy, and I'm going to help establish it, and that Dorothea and I are leaving here tomorrow.
You're wrong. You, sir, are leaving now, right now. My daughter's not going to throw her life away on a hot-headed fool with a toy boat.
Father.
Good day, Mr. Jones. I'm very busy.
Come along, Dorothea. Darling, I'm going now, but I'll come back to you someday. And he'll see it our way then. Will you wait for me, Dorothea?
Oh, I'll wait, John. I'll wait.
Sir, I am Captain White of His Majesty's Royal Navy. Captain Jones of the Continental Navy. I congratulate you on your victory, sir. My sword. Thank you, Captain. The American Navy is so young and impoverished, it could probably use it. But you better keep it. Thank you, sir. I'd like to ask you a question or two. Certainly. Where was your ship bound, sir? Boston. Your cargo? Our stores are sizable, sir. Shoes, uniforms, food, powder, and cannon. Captain Jones, I've never struck my flag before, and I still can't understand how you outmaneuvered me to windward. Your ship, I see, is not exactly first class. They say beginner's luck always is, sir. Then I'm your first prize, Captain Jones? No, sir. You are number 8. There have been 7 others. Captain Jones reporting to Commodore Hopkins.
Captain Jones, I'm glad to see you back in Newport. Is the ship all right?
Sir, I have the honor to report to you that in 6 weeks at sea, we captured 8 enemy vessels. Now I'd like the wages for my crew.
Now? You know better than that. There isn't a pound for wages.
Then suppose we settle it this way. I'll take an advance on the cargoes we captured. The crew is pledged to receive 1/3 value on all captured cargo.
As to that, 2/3 goes for maintenance of the Navy. It may be months before Congress and the courts can dispose of a single shilling.
Delay. There's no delay in your asking me to fire a cannon. I suppose you wouldn't know about firing a cannon, Commodore.
You will address me as befits the Commodore of the Continental Fleet, Captain Jones.
What fleet? Those 6 sloops rotting in the harbor? I tell you, I want a better ship if I'm going to carry out this sea raiding as it should be done.
You don't know how lucky you are. And a lot more important men than yourself with better connections can't get a ship anywhere. Now, are you going to turn over that cargo to me? Or shall I be forced to relieve you of command?
And shall I tell you there's a war going on, Commodore? The country's bleeding to death. And you know it. But so long as they don't bombard Philadelphia harbor, it's business as usual and the devil with liberty. Lick the heels of any tyrant, but get your gold out of it. And forget about the poor clods fighting to make men free.
Get out of here, Jones, and don't come back.
You won't get rid of me. My crew's outside. What if I tell them the Commodore of the Continental Fleet's grabbing 2/3 of the cargo for the Navy and letting the men wait?
No. Wait a minute, Jones. You, want a better ship, you say?
I do.
Suppose I give you one we've just acquired from the French, the Amphitrite. I think this paper will make everything satisfactory.
That's better. Good day, Commodore. Morning, Captain. The Navy has commissioned me to take over the Amphitrite. Here are my papers.
Yes, I see.
Speed is all I ever laid eyes on, sir. I'll be off at once. Along with raiding, I'm to be head for Paris. Dr. Franklin must be given news of Burgoyne's surrender at Saratoga.
Good. I'm sailing the ship to France next week. I'm sure you'll enjoy being a passenger.
You'd better look at that paper again, Captain. You're turning your ship over to me.
Oh, no. That isn't what that paper says. It just says you can take command. I don't see any paper which tells me to give up my ship to anyone.
Well, can't you infer that if I'm to take command, you'll have to give it up?
Give my ship away on inference? You can't do that without another paper that says I can. No, sir. You show me a paper that states that in plain language, and I'll turn my ship over to you.
Paper. The country's dying, and you're talking about a paper. You and the rest like you. Bunglers, money grubbers, politicians. Everybody afraid of the one above him, afraid for his skin, afraid for his pocket. Can Washington load his muskets with paper? Will paper break the blockade? By heaven, if it's not this ship, it'll be another, paper or no paper. Is this a war? Or are we all playing with paper dolls?
You are listening to the Cavalcade of America, starring Claude Rains in Captain Paul, brought to you by DuPont, maker of better things for better living through chemistry. As our play continues, we find John Paul Jones calling on Dr. Benjamin Franklin, the American envoy in Paris.
And the news is, Dr. Franklin, General Burgoyne surrendered his entire army at Saratoga.
Wonderful. Wonderful. Now the French will join us for sure. Good news indeed, my boy, good news. And now, tell me your plans.
Dr. Franklin, I think you realize now we'll be able to finish the war quickly. And I'm sure you see the need for American naval power to do it. The fact is, if I had command of a squadron...
A squadron would be very nice, Captain Jones. But no doubt you heard of politicians.
You might, sort of. Who hasn't?
If you were a politician, you might have inferred from my reaction to your request that... Well, the point is you've been relieved of your command of your own ship.
What?
Jones, there's an old saying. Bad news runs swiftly. Apparently it outran your ship this voyage. You see, your first lieutenant, Mr. Simpson, is something of a politician.
My first lieutenant, sir, is a drunken fool. Command a ship of war? Why, he can't tell the difference between starboard and a teacup. Do you think I'm going to lie down while he walks over my back?
Well, why not roll over? Out of the way then, Jones. Meanwhile, enjoy yourself in Paris.
I'll be hanged if I stay here in Paris for the war to be fought.
You will stay here, Jones, because I think there's a chance I can get you another ship. At least for the present, I'm reasonably certain of it.
Well, I got to do something about the crew. Am I to keep paying for crews out of my own pocket? I can't go on forever like that.
I think you'll go on, Jones. Like the rest of us. You can't help yourself.
Dr. Franklin, I have gone on. I've gone on here in Paris dreaming about that ship for the last 7 months. Haven't you any word, sir?
Jones, your dreams are over. You're in command of a squadron.
At last. Now for some action.
Still, Jones, it would do you well to remember there are ships and ships.
What do you mean, sir?
Well, let me put it this way. True, you have a squadron. It is equally true, nevertheless, that you will be joined by 4 French captains, each commanding his own vessel. As to your own ship, Jones, well, if they refer to vessels as females, we might call her a dowager of the seas. In fact, she's 60 years old.
Guess that must be the one Columbus overlooked. He's sure she floats?
Well, they say she floats. But I think if you're taking her anywhere, you'll have to look around for sails.
If I'm going to do any fighting, I suppose I'll have to pluck a few cannon out of the air.
What's a miracle or two? One smashing victory and you'll go home a hero.
I want to go home, sir. Doesn't a hero always need a heroine?
Then don't waste time, my boy. Go back and marry her. You can tell her you named the ship for her.
Don't you suppose I've had a name ready all these months?
What are you going to call her, Jones?
She'll fight with your name, sir. She'll be the Paul Richard.
Thank you, Jones. And we'll say good luck and a great sail for the Bonhomme Richard.
Come.
Man of war off the port bow, sir.
Up we go, Mr. Stacy.
Aye, sir.
How big is she?
You'll see better through your glass, sir. There she rides around the circle of the land.
Hey, she's a big lady, Jack. I see right. Why, she's the flagship of the British Baltic Fleet.
Look! Our squadron's running away. They're turning to the wind.
Let the French go, the yellow dogs.
That warship's too big for us.
Nothing's too big for us today. Mr. Jackson, up with the gun ports.
Up with the gun ports.
Beat to quarters, Mr. Stacy.
Beat to quarters.
Clear the deck. Mr. Carroll, take electric. Hold on the light room, Anderson. Right, the boys. Lay the boarding deck. Arbitrary pads.
Ship's cleared for action, sir.
Good.
She's closing in on us, sir.
Mighty close. The closer the better. Hit her with a stone right now. Listen. You can even hear them giving orders. I shall be smack into us in a minute, sir. Are the men ready? Aye, sir.
Ahoy! What ship are you?
Listen, Mr. Stacy. Aye, sir. When she gets a little closer, we'll throw the grappling hooks into her and board. I say, what ship are you?
Message ship service. Captain Richardson.
The gun ports are still closed. In another minute, we'll have him blanketed. Aye, sir.
Ahoy there! Where are you bound?
Come closer, I can't hear you.
Answer directly, I fire.
We have him, Mr. Stacy. We'll smother his guns in the collision. He means it all right, look. Grappling hook, sir. Not yet.
Up with the gun, boss. Aye, sir. Lower it now, Max. Up.
Going to fire. We'll be blown to bits this closer. Now, Mr. Stacy. Grappling hook, boys. Throw him into it. I say go. Let him fly, lads. Order! Order! Pistols and cutlasses! That was their stern gun, sir. Guess we couldn't smother them all. Any damage? Looks pretty bad from here. Whole pool of water we're sinking. The ship's on fire. Captain Jones, sir. They shot us carry away our flag.
Oh, you rebel pirates. Do you surrender?
Never. I've got my guns to fight.
Jones, you must have been a wizard. Taking an old hulk like that and winning in spite of it. A great victory, my boy.
That old hulk, as you call it, Dr. Franklin, how could she fail when she bears your name?
Well, you see, Paris has turned out in your honor, and that's fine. You deserve everything. So don't delay. Go home and triumph. I dare say your friends will be delighted. Oh, by the way, here's a packet of letters for you from America.
Oh, thank you, sir. Well, let me see that one from Virginia. Excuse me, sir, will you?
Surely. What's the matter, Jones?
Dear John, Miss Dorothea is no more. That is, a few months ago, she gave herself into the arms of Patrick Henry.
Oh, I'm sorry, Jones.
Patrick Henry. He's a great gentleman, isn't he, Dr. Franklin? Great gentleman of Virginia.
Jones, let me give you some advice. The ambassador from the Imperial Russian Court has been to see me. It seems your fame has reached the ears of the Empress Catherine. She wants you in St. Petersburg as admiral of her Black Sea Fleet. There wasn't much point in it then, but now...
There'd be money in that. How would that help?
Money and a way to forget. Now, I assure you the Empress is not, how shall I say, dull.
No, I'm not, how shall I say, a fool. At least, as far as ships are concerned.
These are my private apartments, as you well know, Admiral Jones. Now, when will you American louts learn some manners?
Softly, my lady, softly. Now, what have I done?
Why do you suppose I brought you in here? I do not propose to be shouted at before my ministers like a common scullery maid.
It was a mistake to bring up the subject of finances. I lost my head for a minute. Let's forget all about it. Shall we?
So, I forgive you. John Paul, hasn't Russia taught you anything?
Many things, my lady. And, after all, haven't I taught Russia something?
Yes. We owe so much to each other, John Paul.
It's just that I've been worried lately, but perhaps I need a rest.
There's nothing to worry about, nothing at all. Why do you worry, John Paul? Haven't I made you an admiral of the Russian fleet? And hasn't Russia repaid you well this month. Is that not so?
Oh, Your Imperial Majesty, I want what is due me. I want that and nothing else.
So, now you listen to me, my little Admiral. Catherine has never been accustomed to treating her favorites like servants. They've all had my friendship, my protection. You are going to be a despicable exception. Admiral of my fleet, are you? Yes. You will continue as Admiral. But you won't even have a barge, a common barge to command. You will not die in action, but of inaction, I promise you. Now go.
I leave tomorrow. That gives you time to get the money ready.
You have no tomorrow in Russia, Mr. Jones. You leave St. Petersburg tonight. Go back to your America to work if you dare. That lovely, free country you've done so much for. But not with my money. You will never have power again. Not as long as I am Empress of all the Russias.
There. Now try to rest, Monsieur Jones. You are tired.
Did you find a doctor?
I've tried all over Paris. But the doctors, they will not come while there is rioting in the street.
Why should they come? See me die.
But, Monsieur Jones, have you no friends? No one to give you a...
You mean, is there no one to bury me? I have no friends. But you've been very good and kind to me. And I leave you nothing. Tell me, they're still fighting in the streets.
Paris is reason, they say. Long live the revolution. But people are dying.
We all die, old woman. Does it matter how? Those people out there, dying as I am, dreaming the same dream I did long ago. In America, freedom, the great ghost no man can shackle. I began my life in one revolution. I die in another. Dorothea? Your hand? My darling? A very small thing. So was my life without it.
Thank you, Claude Rains. Ladies and gentlemen, in a moment our star will return to the microphone with an interesting announcement. But first, I'd like to bring you a message that is important for all of us. All uniforms aren't khaki-colored. The pair of white overalls a painter wears is a uniform, too. A painter is a defender. A brush and a can of paint protect America. Protect it today more than ever, because today we must keep our American industrial plants running at top efficiency. We don't want deterioration to slow a single plant. Paint is the protection against deterioration. Here again, we come upon the word that is so often used these days, conservation. With America all out for defense, every precaution must be taken against the rust and rot that represent the fifth column in industry, tearing down and destroying while industry builds. Here, paint tackles the job of conservation. Nor does that job end with mere surface protection of factory buildings. Paint on storage tanks protects against rust and also reduces losses by evaporation. The painted pipes in a modern manufacturing plant, bright red and blue and green, can be traced easily and repaired quickly in the event of a break. Paint in a contrasting color on the moving part of a lathe or a drill press warns the man at the machine against danger spots, preventing an injury that might invalid him out of the production line. On that other great production front, the farms that feed America, there too paint is at work, protecting, conserving, whether as white enamel on the inside of a milk house or as paint on a tractor that must work and stand out in the rain and sun. And down the straight ribbons that link America's production and consumption, down the airways and highways and seaways, there again paint protects and conserves. It may be the paint on a freight car. It may be the painted stripe or stop sign at a highway intersection. It may be the ship and deck paint that resists salt spray and harbor gases and stretches out time between repaintings. The job in all cases is the same: conservation. In your own home as well, paint works for conservation. It protects wood and cuts your repair costs. A well-painted house costs less to heat, especially a house built of porous brick or stucco. And a room painted with light colors on the walls and ceiling can be lighted with fewer electric bulbs. No small matter in these times when every kilowatt of electric current should be saved. Linoleums, window screens, concrete floors, and front steps wear longer when they're protected by paints designed for the job. And it's worth remembering that when you paint now, you conserve valuable steel and wood. Paint is an important product of chemistry and DuPont. DuPont paints are scientifically made, designed in modern laboratories by skilled chemists. With their enduring colors and resistant protective films, DuPont paint products contribute once again better things for better living through chemistry. And now, ladies and gentlemen, we'd like you to meet our star, Claude Rains. Mr. Rains, we're glad to have you back again on Cavalcade.
Well, Mr. Collier, I enjoyed the opportunity of being with you all again. And with the help of my old friends, the Cavalcade players, I hope that tonight's show, dedicated to a great man and a great tradition, has contributed something to the commemoration of Navy Day.
We certainly trust you're right, Mr. Rains, and we'd like to congratulate you for your part in recalling to us the heroism of one of those men who made our Navy great.
Thank you, Mr. Collier. Now I'd like to bring your radio audience that interesting announcement you spoke about. Before I left Hollywood to come here for the show, I saw a preview screening of the new Warner Brothers picture you're doing on Cavalcade next week. It's called 1 Foot in Heaven. One of the most delightful stories they've ever filmed in Hollywood. And in it, my good friend, Frederick March, turns in one of the greatest starting performances of his career.
Thank you, Claude Rains. Remember, on next week's Cavalcade, 1 Foot in Heaven, starring Frederick March. Our play tonight was based on Captain Paul by Commander Edward Ellsberg, published by Dodd Mead and Company, to whom Cavalcade gratefully acknowledges its obligation for new material. The orchestra and the original musical score were under the direction of Don Voorhees. On the Cavalcade of America, your announcer is Clayton Collier, sending best wishes from DuPont.
This is the Red Network of the National Broadcasting Company.
Around Dodge City and in the territory on west, there's just one way to handle the killers and the spoilers, and that's with the U.S. Marshal and the smell of Gunsmoke.
Gunsmoke, starring William Conrad. The story of the violence that moved west with young America. The story of a man who moved with it. Matt Dillon, United States Marshal.
You gotta get welcome to Dodge City proper like. Hey, you there, mister. I said you.
You addressing me, sir?
I reckon I am. You a preacher?
Not exactly.
You dress like a preacher.
If you'll excuse me.
Back up, fancy pants. You ain't no preacher. I figure on making you dance some for the folks.
You think you can hoorah me?
Dude, I said dance. Dance or the next shot will take off one of your toes.
I don't think I'd like that.
Doc, no. All right, Thorne, put up the gun.
Marshal, you got a wild and woolly town here.
Marshal, you move aside. I'm going to make this grinning dude kick up his heels for us.
I'd say that might be quite a trick, Thorne. Unless he's changed a lot since I last met him. Have you, Doc?
Not for the good, Matt.
I was afraid.
You pasty-faced tenderfoot. I said for you...
Shut up, Thorne. He's drunk, Doc.
He's dead. You just don't know it yet.
I'll take it good if you'd meet me later at my office.
All right, Matt. To you.
Well, that's sure a lot of talk. Now I'm going to shoot that dude's boot heels.
Fire one shot and I'll pistol whip you, Thorne.
What's that? You're kind of forgetting who's holding a gun, ain't you? Oh!
I wasn't forgetting.
Oh, my wrist. You broke my wrist.
I doubt it. Now let's go to jail.
Oh, you can't put me in jail. I'm Thorne Finley.
Move.
Oh, you wait till I tell Big Jack about this, and I will, too.
Do that. He might be grateful to me for saving your neck. You've pulled some fool stunts, Thorne, but you've never been closer to dying than just a minute ago.
You mean from that fancy pants? Oh, I could handle 6 like him.
That makes you a lot of man. I can name a dozen pretty good gun hands who can't handle one of it.
What?
That's Doc Holliday.
There you are. Salute, Matt.
Salute, Doc. It sounds worse, Doc.
Yeah, I got orders to go to Arizona. Air's dry there, better for my lungs.
Going?
Thought I might. Wyatt invited me to visit him. He and Virgil and Morgan of the law down there. Some little mining town called Tombstone.
Well, it sounds peaceful anyway.
If it isn't, it will be by the time Wyatt Earp gets through. He is the peacemakingest man I ever met outside of you. Matt, who was the tellerhead down at the depot anyway?
Oh, Thorne? He's just a spoiled kid.
Kid? Couldn't be much younger than you.
Sure, but Thorne never grew up. His father has coddled him and protected him and gotten him out of scrapes ever since he was a pup. He's never had to be a man. Not with Big Jack wet nursing him.
Big Jack? Big Jack Finley?
Oh, you know him?
I've heard of him.
Well, that figures. He owns about half of Kansas. Star in a box runs more cows than he can count.
Swings a lot of weight in Dodge?
Yeah, too much.
Mr. Dillon? Mr. Dillon, somebody said that Doc Holliday had come into town today and he... Oh, excuse me.
It's all right, Chester. Why don't you shake hands with him?
Don't mind if I shake with my left hand. It's kind of habit.
Yeah, I know. Mr. Dillon has the same habit.
He would. How about dinner tonight, Matt?
Sure. How long will you be in Dodge?
Not long. Just till I finish a chore.
Oh? That chore have anything to do with Big Jack Finley?
Might say so. Gonna kill him.
All right, Dillon. Turn him loose.
You forgot to close the door, Mr. Finley.
You going to turn my boy loose? Or I'm going to have to do it for you.
You got a writ of habeas corpus?
Writ? Thorne didn't commit no crime.
The charges are drunken, disorderly, disturbing the peace, and attempted assault with a deadly weapon.
Eyewash.
You still need a writ.
But, man, Judge Nathan does what I say, and you know it.
Don't you think I can get a writ?
I'm sure you can and will. You always do.
Then what's the point, Dillon? It's just a lot of useless red tape.
It's the law. And close the door on the way out. All right, Thorne.
Didn't I tell you Big Jack would get me out? When are you going to learn you can't
save the speech?
The law can't touch a Finley. You ought to get smart, Marshal.
Like you?
Sure, like me. Hi, Big Jack.
You okay, son?
Fine.
Anything else, Mr. Finley?
Why, yes. My boy here is a little boisterous sometimes, I know. High-spirited, you understand?
Uh-huh. So?
So, I want to put a stop to all this nonsense of yours, arresting him every time he kicks up his heels a bit.
Now, go on.
Well, I'm offering you a job. Let's say, protecting my interests. $200 a month.
And no work, naturally.
I see we understand each other perfectly. No work, of course.
All I have to do is just shut my eyes whenever Junior here breaks the law, huh?
I said we understand each other. There's no need to elaborate on it, Dillon.
There's a big need. Only how do I explain to a person like you that some men don't wear a price tag?
Huh?
How do I explain how I feel about a so-called respectable citizen making the law his private doormat?
Hey, you're nothing but the stupid gunman I've always thought you were. I understand you took the part of Doc Holliday against my son.
I kept Thorne from committing suicide, yeah.
You sided with a notorious killer against an important citizen of this community. Now I'm telling you, Dillon, Holliday, I don't want him in Dodge tomorrow.
Doc may be a gunfighter, but he's clear with the law, Finley, and a better man than your son will ever be.
What? Why,
That hurts, doesn't it?
I'm serving notice, Marshal. You run that killer out of Dodge City, or I'll do it myself.
Big Jack Finley, cattleman and self-made king of southern Kansas. No better or worse than most of the men carving empires out of the West, until love for his son blinded him to the fact that Thorne Finley had gone bad. And from here on, I knew the war was on between Big Jack and me.
So Big Jack Finley's going to run me out of town, huh?
No, unless I do it first.
Oh? I do something naughty, Matt?
Well, you threatened a man's life.
That. And just between friends, Matt.
Anything else, Doc? Not murder.
Murder? I give him an even break.
With you, that's still murder. Don't you think you better tell me about it?
Mm-hmm. What if I don't tell you?
Now, then my job's to warn Finley and try to protect him.
You're a tough man to be friends with, Matt.
It applies to you, too, doesn't it?
Guess maybe it does at that. Didn't realize how I put you on the spot by spouting off my good intentions. Sorry.
Forget it. You want to talk to me?
All right. Remember a girl named Ruth Davis?
Mm-hmm. Died in a riding accident a few months ago. Always wondered if that wasn't suicide. She lost her brother 2 weeks before that.
No accident. No suicide.
You sure?
Sure. You know, Ruth and her brother ran the ranch alone.
Mm-hmm.
A man started pestering Ruth, and she hated him. Her brother kicked the man off the ranch. This fella dry-gulched Ruth's brother, made it look like a robbery.
You have any proof of this?
Yeah. Ruth was afraid to go to the law, so she sent a letter to me. Here, read it yourself. She says the man was Finley and says she expects him to try and shut her up for good.
Well, that doesn't mean it's Big Jack.
I went to see Ruth's folks. They had her belongings. Among them, I found this.
Watch chain.
Engraved JF on the clasp. Jack Finley. You see why I've got to kill him, Matt? He forced Ruth's horse over that cliff, sure. But do you still think she died accidental?
No. But who's responsible is something for a court to decide.
Court? With Finley's money and influence, he wouldn't spend 5 days in jail even if he was convicted, which he wouldn't be.
He doesn't own the court.
Maybe not, but it's still the most powerful man in the state against a dead girl whose only friend is Doc Holliday. How do you think a judge will decide?
Doc, I'm going to ask you a favor.
Make it one I can give.
I got an idea, but you must let me handle it my way. Give the law a chance.
All right, Matt, I can wait.
Thank you. I'll keep this letter in chain for a while.
All right, but if the law fails, I'll brace Big Jack Finley when he walks out of the courthouse.
And you'll be bracing 2 men, Doc. Finley and me.
Come in. Morning, Marshal. Looks like it'll be a fine day.
Well, you're up kind of early just to bring me a weather report, aren't you, Judge Nathan?
Huh? Oh, well, I want to see you.
Go right ahead. You mind if I finish shaving?
No, please do. Just thought I'd chat with you about the...
About the Finleys?
Yes. It seems that Big Jack's very upset by your attitude.
I'm not surprised.
Feels you're a little rough on his boy.
I am. But then his boy's a little rough.
Yeah. Well, perhaps Thorne is high-spirited, like yesterday.
Yesterday he was just plain high. Tell me, Judge Nathan, how do you like being on Finley's payroll?
What?
You know, you used to be a pretty decent person.
Oh, you can't talk to me like...
Yes, I can. I'm sending a copy of Thorne's record to the governor.
Governor?
And with it, I'm sending a list of the writs you've issued to get him out of jail and a copy of the court records.
I've only tempered my justice with mercy, that's all.
Thorne's been arrested for 18 offenses, convicted of 10, spent no time in jail, and paid a total of $15 in fines. I'd say you've been very merciful.
You said you were sending this to the governor. You haven't actually mailed it yet?
No. You got an out.
Not that I don't feel justified in any decisions I've made, but such a report might cause undue talk at the Capitol.
And ruin your political hopes. Well, my conditions are simple. Get off Finley's payroll now.
Very well.
And give me cooperation from here on, no matter who's involved. Do that and I shelve the report.
I'll do it.
Mr. Dillon, trouble's a-making.
What kind of trouble, Chester?
It's Big Jack Finley, Mr. Dillon. He's rounding up his crew at the Alafraganza. They're going to ride Doc Holliday out of town on a rail. Did you cut yourself shaving?
We will return for the second act of Gunsmoke in just a moment. But first, don't forget, starting Monday, CBS Radio's tremendous news staff will start bringing you the complete coverage of the Democratic Convention in Chicago. As you found during the Republican Convention, CBS Radio never misses. So, starting Monday, stay with CBS Radio all day and evening for the Democratic Convention. Now, the second act of Gunsmoke.
Doc.
What?
Wake up, Doc. It's Matt.
Oh.
What's up? Trouble. Lots of trouble. Big Jack Finley's organizing a little citizens committee of his own hand-picked men coming to escort you out of town.
On a rail?
Yeah, that's the general idea. Here, take a shotgun.
Yeah, I'll hide it under the covers, modest like.
I'll wait against the wall here.
Good. That'll put him in a crossfire.
It comes to that.
There's enough of them, we're in a spot.
And likely we are.
You're risking your neck to save me some bruises. One I owe you, friend Matt.
It's my job.
Still one I owe you.
There he is. Wrap him up. All right, stop right there. I'll shoot the man who takes another step.
You think you're going to stop us, Dillon?
I think so. Me and Doc.
Doc.
Show him, Doc.
Sure thing, Marshal. Look, boys, surprise. I sure do love surprises.
Dillon, I've got a dozen men with me.
Well, sure, about 6 of them will die, Findlay, if you don't crawl out of here fast.
And guess who'll die first, Big Jack?
You there, Moncrief. I always figured you for some brains. Get your boss out of here, quick.
Sure talking sense, Big Jack. Shut up, Moncrief. You showing yellow.
Oh, but, man, there's nothing here for us to die over.
Listen to him, Findlay. That greener Doc is holding has 18 buckshot in each barrel.
He'll get slaughtered if he triggers that thing.
And I'm getting edgy, Findlay.
And me, if I get a coughing spell, I'm liable to shoot without meaning to.
All right. This is twice you have made a Findlay back down. You'll never get a third chance. Let's get out of here.
Matt, when you going to arrest him?
When I'm ready. Not long.
I hope not. Getting impatient to see that man dead.
I got your message, Marshal. I hope it's important.
It is, Moncrief. How long you been foreman for Big Jack?
15, 16 years.
You know him pretty well. Would he be the kind to kill a girl?
No, of course not. Guess he'd kill a man if he got mad enough, but he wouldn't kill no girl, Marshal.
Well, I have proof that he did. A girl and her brother, but it doesn't set right. I'm hoping you can help.
What's your proof, Marshal?
A letter that names Findlay as the man. Ruth Davis wrote it before she died.
Ruth Davis.
And this watch chain was found with her belongings. It's engraved on the back.
I know. I was with Big Jack when he bought this chain in Chicago. It was right after his wife died.
Big Jack wear it all the time?
You rode the right hunch, Marshal.
What?
Thorne is your man, just like you figured. He had a yen for the Davis girl, but he kept it quiet. Guess he didn't want it known she throwed him over.
But the watch chain...
Big Jack gave that to Thorne on his 25th birthday. Whole ranch can testify to that.
Good. All right, thank you, Moncrief.
You, gonna try and arrest Thorne?
Why?
If Big Jack believes Thorne killed that girl, it'll break his heart.
Broke her neck.
If he don't believe it,
then
he'll protect Thorne. And, Marshal, there's not enough lawmen in the state of Kansas to make Big Jack give up his son.
Yeah, what it... Oh, it's you, Marshal. And,
John Holliday. Doc, this is Judge Nathan.
Holliday? Oh, yes, I've heard of you.
I've heard of you, too, Judge. Wonder which has heard the worst.
What's that? Why,
Judge, I'm here on business.
Oh, of course. Come in, won't you? In my study here, so we won't be disturbed. Now, what is it, Marshal?
I want you to swear out a warrant for Thorne Findlay's arrest. Charge, murder. You sure you want to go with me, Doc?
I'm sure.
All right, hold up your right hand.
Oh, no, Matt, you wouldn't make me a lawman.
If you go as my deputy. I'm not letting you make this a private fight.
Yeah, but my friends, if they hear I wore a star... All right, Matt, it's your show.
You swear to uphold and enforce the laws of this community, the state of Kansas, and the United States to the best of your ability as deputy marshal, so help you God?
All of that?
All of that.
I swear.
Here, pin on this badge.
All right, man. You know, I'm feeling this badge is going to cramp my style something terrible.
Horses going up through this pass. We still got a good ride ahead.
How far?
Oh, about 10 miles.
What do you think, Matt? Will they fight?
Well, Doc.
Stay your horse, Marshal. Grab some clouds. Keep those hands high. Bill Queen's on the other side of the pass behind you. That's being smart, Dillon. Queen will drop you if you touch her gun butt.
You're handy at this bushwhacking, aren't you, Thorne? If Doc...
He's all right. My slug seems to have bounced off his thick skull.
Good.
Yeah, let's pull your teeth. Better you do it. With your left hand, reach down and across slow. Pull your gun out with your fingertips and toss it away.
Nervous?
Just cautious.
Or maybe this Queen doesn't exist, huh, Thorne?
Queen! Queen's one of Dad's men, but I pay him extra to work for me. Any more questions?
I guess not. There's my gun.
The rifle next.
I got a penknife in my pants pocket.
You know why Holliday came to Dodge? Yeah, I guess you do. You wouldn't be riding with him. Well, he's not going to tell any stories to my dad or anyone else.
You can't kill us, you stupid...
Not planning on killing you.
And what have you got planned?
Queen's kind of a magician. He's going to make Holliday just disappear. Folks won't care much about one of his kind.
I would. I'd care so much I'd hang you for it.
No, with Holliday gone, it's your word against mine. And you won't be able to prove a thing, Dillon.
You sure of that?
I'm sure. Otherwise, I'd take care of you along with Holliday. Now get on and start walking back to town. It's like I told you. Law can't touch a Finley.
It was no time for heroics, so I walked. When I reached a turn, I cut back through the rocks, but it was too late. They were gone. And with them, the horses, guns, and Doc Holliday. 2 miles up the road, I found my horse turned loose. And with a mind full of cold hate, I raced on to the Star in a box. On the front porch of the ranch house was one of Big Jack's men.
Hold it right there.
Out of my way, mister. I'm in no mood to shake hands.
Where you heading, lawman?
You don't hear well.
Dillon.
Where's Holliday?
How should I know? Get off my ranch.
And where's that prize son of yours?
What?
Trot him out. I want him.
Do you now? What on earth for? Thorne, put that gun away. Oh, no. This is just in case the marshal loses his temper.
I've lost it, Junior.
Sure. Dillon, I've had all I'm going to stand from you.
You just think you have. Where's Holliday, Thorne? Where'd Queen take him?
Holliday? Why, I haven't the faintest idea. Where is Queen, Dad? The riding fence line, but... See, Marshal, we don't know where your friend is.
You're under arrest, Thorne.
What's that? Ask him to show the warrant.
Here. Read it, Finley.
Oh, no. No, that's not possible. The judge wouldn't issue a warrant without proof.
He has proof, Thorne.
This is a lie. Thorne couldn't be guilty of murder.
No. Take a look at his face.
Son. Daddy's trying to frame me. Don't let him get away with this. No, I won't.
I won't. Get out, Dillon. Man, open your eyes. This is not going to help you. You heard me. I don't believe you, your warrant, or your proof. I believe my son. So get off this ranch. Get out of the state. You let me see you again, so help me, I'll kill you myself. Forget me. You're bucking the law. You can't. I make my own law. So do I. Doc Holliday. But you're supposed to be dead. Queen was supposed
He's
to...
the one who's dead. I carry a knife in my boot just for men like him.
Thorne, God help me. You are guilty.
He sure is. And if he knows any prayers, he'd better get them over with.
No, Doc. He goes back with us as our prisoner.
You're wrong, Marshal. I'll take care of my son.
Dad, no.
You rotten, lying, murderous pup.
Please don't.
I should have strangled you in the cradle when you were...
Stay away! I'll shoot! I'll shoot you all!
Finally, look out! I threw myself at Fenway, and both of us hit the floor, rolling away from Thorne as he raised his gun to fire. Then in the doorway, the blood-stained, terrible figure of Doc Holliday went into action. His pale hands blurred over his holster.
Ruth Thorne!
Ruth?
Ready to leave, Mr. Holliday. Thanks, Chester.
You sure you want to stay around a while, Doc?
Yeah, we're good friends, Matt, but you're a peace officer. I guess I'm not a very peaceful man.
You could be, Doc.
No, I'm not going to change, and you shouldn't. Law needs men like you. No, if I stayed, there's too good a chance I might cross you.
Yeah?
Then I'd have to meet you over gun barrels, and it's one thing I'm afraid of. So long, Matt.
Good luck, Doc.
My. I never would have thought Doc Holliday was scared of meeting anyone in a gunfight.
You don't understand, Chester. Doc's afraid because he might beat me.
Gunsmoke, under the direction of Norman MacDonald, stars William Conrad as Matt Dillon, U.S. Marshal. Tonight's story was specially written for Gunsmoke by Herb Purdom, with music composed and conducted by Rex Corey. Featured in our cast were Harry Bartell as Doc Holliday, with Lee Millar, Nestor Paiva, Ralph Moody, and Tom Tully. Parley Bear is Chester. Join us again next week as Matt Dillon, U.S. Marshal, fights to bring law and order out of the wild, violent